Well, a very good evening to wherever you are joining us in the 2024 Amos Award Show. We're here all thanks to Mecwa Care, of course, building up to the big awards night next week, the Woodrow Medal and the Shona McGuinness Medal for both William Buck Premier Men's and William Buck Premier Women's. Nice to see a different array of the panel. Only one lasting member from 2023 is still here alongside me, Joe Pignataro. Got the penguin suit on as I welcome Susan Miller. Hello, Suze.
Hi, Joey. Great to be back again this year for another award show.
I thought you did so well last year, Suze, that I demanded in my contract this year that you have to come back and help us out with reading the votes again this year. You've been practicing your names over the last 12 months?
I have been. I'm looking forward to reading out a few more BNF winners this year. Some good coverage across the women's competition, and so there could be a few exciting results.
Okay, well, we're looking forward to you helping us out throughout the evening. Jason Bennett has been here alongside me all year on for the love of the game. Hello, Jace.
Hello, Joseph. You look magnificent.
I know.
I mean, it's a tux, but it's the T-shirt version of
Yes,
the tux, but
it
it
is.
still looks really good on you.
It's comfortable.
And Paddy's gone the brown velour Graham Teasdale style tux, befitting his sort of hipster vibe.
Yeah, I thought I'd get the perm sorted out nice and early for the next few weeks, gentlemen. So
You look
what do you
splendid.
think?
No socks, of course, but that's sort of going with the Fitzroy feel of things. And Suze, who are you dressed by?
We don't talk labels here. We dress up. It's an award show. We got to look good.
Well, I'm going to thank Gazman because I like Gazman a lot.
And I
Maybe
can't wait to
help
see
me out.
everyone suited up again next week for our awards night at the San Remo Ballroom.
Now, just on next week, Suze, off the very top, are tickets still available for people who want to come to next Wednesday night?
Look, Joey, no.
Oh, they're not.
It's the short answer.
Okay, we're full
a
house.
sellout.
It's a sellout. It's a full house. You can't get in next week. So you're going to have to listen to this, enjoy the night, and then enjoy the coverage on vafa.com.au across the coming days. Now, what are we doing first?
We're going to start with our women's best and fairest
I love
categories,
talking to the
working
women
all the way up
first.
from the divisions through to Premier B. Then we'll do a couple of under-19s divisions, and then we will finish off with the senior men's competitions. But best and fairest all over the place.
Okay.
Suze has been frantically counting.
We have, and big thank you goes to Stephen Privatera, our umpiring manager, who counts the votes and makes sure that we have all votes in check from our umpires who award them every round. And that is a massive job. Huge thank you to Steve. And yeah, looking forward to reading out some votes.
Well, hopefully he's nailed the votes and got the count right, our man Priv, of course, the umpiring manager. Let's start with Division 4 Women's and then work our way up. Well, let's start the night, guys. Suze, you've been practicing for 12 months when we get to this particular point. Division 4 Women's is where we're going to start. And as I look at Division 4 Women's, Jace and Paddy, there is only one team that tickles my fancy in this section, and it's the Albert Park Falcons. Because in previous editions, as Suze, you've listened to the very start of For the Love of the Game, and Nick Armistead, former media manager, he aligned himself with the Albert Park Falcons, and he's been there ever since.
I think he's become a bit of a staple down there at the Falcons.
I think he's still down there. They didn't win the grand final, Suze. I saw St Kevin's win this grand
By
final.
a point, 2-5 to 2-4 over MCC. Albert Park knocked out in the prelim.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts for the girls.
I reckon it hurt them more, to be fair.
Well, they've had some heartbreaking losses, Albert Park, in finals. I might make a statement about that on For the Love of the Game next year when we get to talking about this. Now, have you got something for us, Paddy, or do you want to hear from Suze the votes?
Before we do get to Suze, I was listening back to last year's show, and there's a little quote from you, Joey Pignataro, that stood out to me.
Gold last year.
Johanna Griffin from Albert Park.
Yes.
29 goals this year, three-time league BNF. Your words verbatim, if she wins a fourth one, she is an automatic entry to have her name on one of these awards. So keeping an eye on that one as the votes are read out, because I'm not quite sure what the name of the trophy is here in Div 4, but it may have a new one.
I don't think we have a name.
No, we have the Shona McGuinness Medal for the William Buck Premier Women's, and then we don't have names for the others.
I think there may be for a couple, but I don't think the Div 4 Women's Best and Fairest medal has a namesake.
Okay, well, you're about to read out the votes, and then we'll see. We'll see. I mean, you've got the envelope. None of us know who's going to win.
Let's see how we
in this
go.
competition, Sue.
Let's get right
Crack
into
the
it.
envelope.
Okay.
So in fifth place, we actually have a tie between 4 players on 11 votes. From North Brunswick, Sophie Ulcock. From MCC, Alexandra Stranger. From West Brunswick, Claudia Piggott. And from St Kevin's, Charlotte Lapson. So that's 4 players all on 11 votes sitting in 5th. In equal 3rd, we have from MCC, Holly Brodrib. From Elstonwick, Nicola Berto. Now in 2nd place on 16 votes, from St Mary's Salesian, Holly Wilson. And our winner of the Div 4 Women's Best and Fairest from Albert Park is Johanna Griffin.
The Johanna Griffin medal.
Studio audience for Johanna.
Yeah, Nick, they bring a crowd, the Falcons. They bring a crowd. They're a travelling team. They come from everywhere. And this will be the 4th straight year that I've had to say hello and welcome to Johanna Griffin, who always answers the phone. So we always know we're at least going to get one away early, Suze, with an interview. And Johanna Griffin from the Albert Park Falcons has joined us to kick off our night. Hello, Jo.
Hi, how are you going?
Going well. Not as well as you, Jo.
Have they built the statue
that's
for
very
you?
exciting. Oh, God, no. Absolutely not.
Come on, Jo. Now, this is starting to get ridiculous. Every year we do this, and every year I've got to ring you.
I know, I'm sorry about that. It is a bit ridiculous, I agree.
I'm pretty sure you told me in 2022, Jo, on this particular award show that you were going to retire after 2022, but you didn't win the grand final, so you wanted to play in 2023. You didn't win the grand final, so you're going to play in 2024. Didn't win the grand final, so you're playing in 2025 then, surely.
Oh, they're your words, not mine. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Tell us about what this means to you, Jo, because this is the 4th time, as I said, but it is an awesome effort. The work you put in to play the best football possible, how does this one sit with you as opposed to the other 3?
Yeah, I mean, it's very exciting. Obviously, a great honour. There's some really fantastic footballers across the all the divisions, and I've been lucky enough to play against and alongside lots of them. So it is really exciting. A bit of a different role this year. I was playing coach, so yeah, definitely wasn't on my radar at all. But yeah, obviously very exciting. So thank you.
Wow, Jo, we have to point out that winning 1 Best and Fairest medal is no small feat, but to win 4 consecutively is simply incredible. I should also highlight to our audience that not only are you a player, you're a coach as well, as you've just mentioned, but you're also the president of Albert Park Football Club. I simply don't know how you do it. You're the standout player in the Division 4 women's competition and you're running the football club. How do you do it?
Oh, no, I'm definitely not running it solo. I'm just surrounded. I mean, it's a fantastic club, as Joey knows and as Nick Armistead attests to. So it's definitely not a one-man show at all. It is, surrounded by lots of great people in the community, but also just fantastic people who are players or supporters of the club. So it's just a privilege to be part of the great club still.
So you must have a busy Best and Fairest night then, Jo, when you have the club Best and Fairest, because you're the leading player. You're also the coach who then has to get up and make the coach's speech. You're the president, so you make the president's speech. Then you win the award, so you have to make a speech as a player as well.
Yeah. No, it's a bit ridiculous and a bit embarrassing, to be honest. But that's okay.
You kicked 29 goals this year, as we mentioned, 4 against Kew, 4 against South Melbourne. I saw you kick 6 against Old Yarra Cobras. Now, Play HQ can get a bit funky at times, few little glitches here and there, but on the stat sheet it says you kicked 6-10 that day. Could that be right?
Probably. I think it could be. I definitely kicked too many points, so if I was the coach, but I should have dragged myself.
Yeah, who do you have to have a good, long, hard talk to at half-time when you've kicked 1-5 to half-time or something? Do you just go into the bathroom and look in the mirror?
No, well, my sister Ren, who Joey also knows, helped out this year on the sideline, so I'd always walk straight to her, and don't worry, I was very open about how I was playing, but obviously that's just one aspect of it.
You mentioned your sister Jo. What's her role this year? Because prior to you taking on board everything this year, as Susan's mentioned, your sister was that person. What's her role been in 2024?
Yeah, she was pretty strong-willed at me not joining the committee or getting involved, because I think she sort of knew that meant she's back involved as well. But she's been a great help, her along with our team manager, Sarah Grace. So Ren's been sort of our runner, but also trainer when we needed one, and helping out with the board on the sideline. So, yeah, she definitely didn't get away from the club as she thought she may have.
Now, just before the end of last year, of course, I went on and did other ventures, Joe, but I didn't unsubscribe from the Albert Park Falcons newsletter, which still hit my inbox every single weekend. And it may be the most poorly written newsletter I think I've ever read that's ever been sent out. I'm assuming it's still the same author who was writing the previous edition of the Albert Park Falcons newsletter.
It certainly is.
Don't tell me it was you as well, Joe. You're not the president, the best and fairest, the coach.
No, Joe's got more class than that, Jace. Joe doesn't waste their time writing absolute dribble. Do you still read it over a pasta on a Friday night before you go out and play?
Of course I do. It's my ritual.
Joe.
That's what's got me this far.
He's getting worse.
I owe all my credit to that.
Joe, surely.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Before we let you go, Joe, it's time to offer some thanks. And you've done this a few times, so you can either rerun what you said last year or you can add a couple of new people into the list.
Great. Thanks, guys. Obviously, I just would like to thank everybody at the Falcons. I really enjoy being part of the club, and it really is a big family. A huge thanks to obviously all my teammates this year. It was one of the most enjoyable years of footy I've ever had, and that's all thanks to the culture and the support of every single person that was on the ground or off the ground. Huge thanks to the best team manager in the VAFA, which is Sarah Grace, and obviously Ren for all her support, and just everyone, I think, who supports divisional footy. I think it's really good, but I think we need to wrap our arms around it so we don't lose it or lose any more teams, because it is the heart of the game. That's it. Thank you.
Very well spoken, Joanna Griffin. And I'll put it in my diary for 2025 that we'll speak to you again in 12 months' time. And hopefully this time when we do speak to you, you've got a premiership medal around your neck and not just a 5th best and fairest medal. Thanks for joining us, Joe. Congratulations.
Cheers. Thanks very much. See you later.
How good's Joanna Griffin? I'm telling you.
She can't be stopped. And can we just make a point of the fact that she's made history here, winning 4 women's best and fairest medals?
She broke her own record of winning 3 last year, Suze. So put it in the book that we need to change the name to the Joanna Griffin Medal. Can you take that back to HQ for me?
I sure can. We'll have a round table about it.
Okay. Jace, can you jump on board with me?
Oh, I've got no stroke at all at HQ.
Oh, okay.
Don't ask me.
All right. Well...
Susan's the mover and shaker here. She'll get it done for you.
All right. I look forward to presenting Joe Griffin next year with the Joanna Griffin Medal for the best player of the game in a 5th straight season. Let's head over to Division 3 Women's. Now, I'm pretty sure De La Salle's in this section.
This section was all about Theri Penola.
Oh, good. Okay. I was worried you were going to say it's all about
This
De La.
was one of the most dominant seasons we had in any section anywhere in the VAFA this year. They went 15-1 with a percentage of 570.
What?
570.
You know what I love about this is that the only game they lost all year was the first game of the season against UHSVU. So it's almost, you take that first game off, you start the year in round 2, and they're off and running.
But the question always then becomes, obviously they finished on top of the ladder. They won their first final over Latrobe by 25 points, went straight through to the granny, and then beat Latrobe by 36 in the grand final. But the question always becomes, when you get to League Best and Fairest night, is obviously they're a very strong team. They've got great players all over the ground. Do they take votes away from each other? And can someone else pop up and pinch it?
Well, this is the concern I have, because if you look at the goal kickers, the top 3 are all Theri Penola players. You've got Abby Duggan with 44, you've got Eliza German with 40, Ruby O'Halloran with 30. So it's a situation.
Also got a lot of good players.
They're going to split a lot of votes, the Theri Penola girls.
Well, are they? I'm looking at this, and the same sheet you're looking at has Eliza German, 18 games, 18 times in the best. That is nuts. Ashton Billing from Wattle Park, who has a previous winner of this award. I think she was Division 4 last year, Sue. 16 games, 16 best on grounds. That's nuts.
There's some outstanding players, isn't there?
Incredible stats there.
Yep.
Shall we crack the envelope?
There's a couple of, on the Anytime Fitness Rising Star shortlist that come from this division as well, from Division 3 Women's. I think Ava Menard and Lily Griffiths, I think, are both from Division 3 Women's.
There's a previous nominee
You're right. In Puppy Palmer from De La Salle, I
She
believe.
claimed last year's best and fairest in her debut season in the seniors.
Yeah, so this has been a really healthy division for quite a while in the VAFA, Division 3 women. So let's crack the envelope and see who's who.
Let's go, Suze.
In 5th place from Box Hill North, Lily Griffiths.
There you go. There she is.
Okay, bang.
We have a tie in 3rd on 19 votes from La Trobe University, Michaela D'Angelo, and from Waddle Park, Ashton Belling.
Okay, there's Ashton. Bang.
In 2nd place on 20 votes from De La Salle, it's Puppy Palmer.
Bang.
Close
Tight count.
count,
So
very
it's only
tight count.
4 votes between those four.
Very tight, Suze. I expect you to say on 21 votes or something, given how tight this is.
In 1st place, Joey, this may shock you, on a whopping 43 votes.
What?
43
Is that a
votes.
misprint?
Is that the right way around?
We've gone from 20 in 2nd place to 43. Our 1st place Division 3 women's best and fairest winner from Therry Panola is Eliza German.
Wowie.
43 votes of a possible 16 games, so 48.
Aren't the crowd pumped for 43?
43 of 48 votes.
That's ridiculous. Is the system broken?
Is that our best
That's
all
real
year?
Paddy Cripps sort of areas.
It is a Paddy Cripps kind of count, and that's off the charts. I don't know that we've recorded such a high vote count in
Wow.
any section before.
Unbelievable.
Well, I want to ask Eliza German if she thinks she's had a 43 vote season.
That's incredible.
Have we got Eliza on the line?
She just polled
I
3
believe we
votes
do.
while she was sitting on the line.
Oh, she is on the line. Hello, Eliza German.
Up to 48 by now.
Hey,
Congratulations. Did you have a 43 vote season, Eliza?
I don't know. That's very exciting.
That's outstanding.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
Very shocked to hear that. That's very exciting.
When you poll 43 votes, I'm sure that there's some sort of strategy to try and butter up the men and women in green. Like, when are you having your conversations, Eliza? Is it pre-game, a reminder at halftime, maybe a little wink and a nudge at three-quarter time?
I didn't even know that how many votes you can get maximum, so that's exciting.
Are you disappointed you didn't kick the most goals in the competition? Your teammate did in Abby Duggan?
Oh, nah, happy for Abby. I still definitely need to work on my kicking. I kicked a lot of points for the year.
As you
But,
mentioned,
happy with Abby.
as you mentioned, Joey, she was in the best players, the coaches' votes in all 18 games this year, and she did kick 40 votes herself. 6 against Preston, 5 against Brunswick, 5 against North Brunswick. So she's had a great year. Eliza, 82 games for Therry Panola since 2017. So you've been there a long time, and obviously it's agreeing with you.
Yeah, very exciting. I had a year off last year. I moved overseas. So, yeah, that's a nice thing to come back to this year.
Do you feel like your footy's been better, taking a year off and then sort of coming again and starting fresh?
Yeah, I guess so. It was nice last year to not have bruised body and cuts all the time. So
Where were you?
I guess it did help my body. I was living in the UK for the year. So,
Oh, lovely.
yeah, so that was good. But yeah, it was nice to have a year off, refreshing the body, and then come back this year.
It's always been Therry Panola for you, hasn't it, Eliza, since you first started playing your footy?
Yeah.
And what does that
Yeah,
club
so
mean to you,
started
the team out of Oak
first year.
Park?
Oh, I love it. I'm from Oak Park, so all my friends and family are from the area, and pretty much all my best friends are in the team. So, yeah, it's nice to play with them.
And Eliza,
And it's a really great club too.
absolutely it is. CEO Jason Reddick actually has a soft spot for
Oh,
Therry
just ask
Panola.
him.
Eliza, this award caps off a pretty good season for Therry and for yourself. What was the feeling on grand final day after you won the flag?
Oh, so exciting. It was nice to see all that hard work for the year pay off. And, yeah, such a great team to be a part of. Everyone gets along so well. And guest coaches, so, yeah, it was really exciting.
Have you had your best and fairest night yet?
No, it's next week, Friday.
Oh, you reckon she'll win? You reckon she'll probably walk away with it?
Who are your closest contenders?
I don't know. There's so many good people in our team. Gemma, our captain's really strong. Ruby, Abby kicked heaps of goals, so there could be heaps of people
Well, with
up for
three
grabs.
40-plus goal kickers, it's going to be an
That's incredible.
exciting B&F night
Yeah.
down at Therry Panola.
And Ruby O'Halloran is Ruby that Elijah just mentioned. 17 games, 30 goals, 14 times in the best.
Yeah,
Handy.
incredible.
Few talents down there at Therry Panola.
Sounds like it was a fun year, Eliza. Years don't get much better than this,
Yeah,
do they?
it was. Yeah, it was very exciting after every game, except the first. But every other game, very exciting.
And will you be backing it up next season? Can we see you out on the park again?
I hope so.
Probably
That's
needs
the
to.
plan at the moment.
Probably needs a
but
year
we'll
off.
see.
Rest her neck after all the medals hanging off it.
I'm sure there's a few.
Yeah, no, hopefully.
I'm sure there's a few people you'd like to thank.
Yeah. Firstly, love to thank the coaches. They put in so much effort and time with us, and they're just the best. Thanks to all the girls. It was just the best season with them. Thanks to my family and friends. I have a big cheer squad at all the games, so that's very exciting. And also thanks to Theory and the VAFA as well for putting on the competition.
It's a pretty damn good
Very
competition,
exciting,
and you're the best player in it, Eliza. Congratulations. 43 votes is unbelievable. Really well played. Awesome
Thank
year. Enjoy the off-season, and hopefully, well, next year, I don't think if you go one better, maybe you could just do it again.
Those couple of ordinary games you played, you can poll votes in those.
Fourth best player rather than first best.
Thanks.
Thanks, Eliza. Enjoy your night.
Good on you,
Thank
Eliza.
you so much. See you later.
43 votes for Eliza German at Therry Penola is an outstanding effort. Did you say, Sue's 43 out of a possible 48?
That's right, Joey. She missed out on just 5 votes for the season.
Well, everyone's entitled to an off day, Sue. So
That's got to be some kind of record.
bad luck to Eliza, who couldn't quite complete the treble. Let's head over to Division 2 Women's. A couple of interesting clubs playing this competition, Suze. I'm looking forward to seeing where the votes go when it comes to this section.
Yeah, Glenire Old McKinnon finished, 3 games clear, Sue's on top of the ladder here. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not they take votes away from each other or whether there's any standouts in this group.
Yeah, absolutely. They were definitely a dominant side all season. They did take home the flag in a very strong grand final victory.
Yep.
It would be interesting to see if they poll votes because it seems like they have strong talent across the board who could be stealing votes from each other. Yeah, we'll see how that one goes. Hampton are another one to look out for. Another strong side. Whitefriars, obviously. I know we've mentioned Claire Fernandez, who is a former winner of the BNF.
Well, every time I think about Whitefriars in the women's, Claire Fernandez's name comes up because I've spoken to her a few times on this evening. Hampton Rovers, well, the Peacock has just put a stain on the club. So I don't know how many votes will go the way of the green and gold side because of the work of the Peacock. I just reckon the umpires might look away from that, Paddy.
Well, we've got to shout out, I think, the Peacocks women because they managed to come from 4th all the way through to the grand final. Unfortunately, 1 game too many for the Rovers.
I just ran out of steam, did they?
Yeah, Glenira beat them by 55 points in the end, but they had a super year, as you mentioned, Suze. They went 15-1 through the season with a percentage of 378, and then it came to Whitefriars in the first round of the finals, beat them by 7 goals, got straight through to the grand final and won that by 9 goals. So they were just a super team this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go, Suze. The
Straight
top
into the votes.
Crack the envelope.
In tied 5th position from Glenira Old McKinnon, we have Cecilia McIntosh, and from Powerhouse, Anna Jones, both on 14 votes. In 4th position on 15 votes, also from Glenira Old McKinnon, Sarah Fitzpatrick, on 25 votes.
Oh, big gap.
From Oakley, Ruby Ford. In 2nd place on 26 votes from Hawthorn, Imogen Johnson. And our winner on 36 votes. That's a 10-vote jump from 2nd to 1st.
It is.
From Whitefriars, it's Claire Fernandez.
10-vote jump. Quick maths, Suze. Quick maths. So Claire Fernandez has won from Whitefriars, and well, she's done this before, Jace and Paddy.
36 votes.
She's joined us on the line. Hello, Claire Fernandez.
Hi, guys.
Congratulations, Claire.
Thank you.
Happy birthday,
Exciting.
Claire.
Claire's birthday.
25
Thank you.
today.
25.
25 years old.
Claire, you've achieved a bit in 25 years. I think I've spoken about 3 times in this awards night.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, thank you.
What's better, celebrating a birthday or winning the Best of Fairest medal?
Look, I'm at work today, so probably the best of Fairest medal. Not doing much for the birthday.
Talk to us about the year that you've put together, Claire. As you compare it to the other ones where you have been the best player in the competition, where does this one stack up?
This has been a really fun year, I think. The team's been really fun this year, so it's been good to rock up and play footy every Saturday morning.
12-4 season for you guys. Unfortunately, not able to make it count during the finals. What's the next step for your playing group?
Yeah, hopefully we would win a final next year. I think we were really happy finishing second. We won 9 in a row to get there. But I think the other teams just showed a little bit more come finals time. We fell a bit short.
And what are the vibes around the club now that season's wrapped up, Claire? Is everyone looking already ahead to next season? How are you feeling? Will you be playing on?
Yeah, I'll be back next season. I think the vibes are pretty high. We're pretty keen for our footy trip in a couple of weeks, and we've just had our awards night, so there's lots of fun happening.
What's the footy trip location these days? Because I've been hearing Adelaide getting around. Usually it's the Bali one, which might come into the count later in the piece today, I'm sure, with a few of our award winners. Where are you heading off to?
We're headed for Lawn this year. We've got a nice big house.
Magic.
We tend to stay pretty local.
Well,
Haven't done anything interstate.
oh, you just broke up there a little bit, Claire. What was the last bit?
I was just saying we tend to stay pretty local. We haven't done anything interstate so far.
Oh, right. Okay.
36 votes. That's, as we mentioned, 10 clear of the next best player. Can you talk us through how dominant you've been this season? Because that's a serious year you've put together.
Oh, not really sure. I feel like we had lots of really good players this year, so that's a bit shocking. Maybe I've been captain this year, so having the chats with the umpires before the game might have helped me out.
Well played by you. How'd you go in the BNF, Claire?
I did win this year. It's, after losing last year to Carly.
Was that close, or did you win that in a canter as well?
No, it was pretty close.
Pretty close.
Had to
Probably won by about 40
nerve-wracking
votes
last
instead
couple
of
of
50.
rounds.
So you're the 2018 Club Best and Fairest. You're also Club Best and Fairest in 2022, 2019, 2021, and now 2024.
Wow.
You have won the best player in the competition, Claire. It's a handy little resume, and today, as we
And
already...
just turned 20, all that before 25.
all that before 25.
What have the rest of us been doing with our lives?
I think I finally broke out of the under-19s around about the time I turned 25, Joe. So finally said,
Well, you're still
stop playing in the under-19s,
You still
Joey.
fit the height criteria.
That's correct. I still could now. Claire, we're just about to let you go, but we can't do so without giving you the floor to say a few thanks to the people that have helped you throughout the year.
I guess just thanks to the club, the coaches, La, Harrow and Andy for coming every week, and then all the girls for making it a fun season.
Fantastic for Whitefriars and for you, Claire, to achieve another Best and Fairest in the competition medal. Enjoy your evening. We'll see you next Wednesday.
All right, thanks, see you then.
Big congratulations to Claire Fernandez from Division 2 Women's Whitefriars. We've spoken to Claire a few times, Sue. She's in the Joanna Griffin mould almost. I think she's one short of Joe.
Right on her tail.
She's closing in. Book her in for next year again, Suze.
Absolutely.
When we're done tonight. Let's head over to Division 1 Women's. Now, there's a couple of handy clubs in Division 1 Women's, Jace. We're talking about teams like Old Brighton.
They went 15-1.
We're talking about teams like Marcelin.
14-2.
I think there's a team in Parkdale that go okay.
Yeah, they were 6 games behind, so it was really a race in two between Old Brighton and Old Marcelin this season. And, of course, they met in the first final. Old Brighton won it by 44 points and went straight through. Parkdale then belted Collegian. So those two teams met, Marcelin and Parkdale, in the prelim. Marcelin won that game by 5 goals, and then Old Brighton took the flag by 21 points in the end, 5-9 to 2-6 in the grand final.
It
Okay.
was an exciting competition, though, Div 1 Women's this season. They only had 6 teams for predominantly most of the season, but it made for a really exciting competition. There was very good standard across the board. And that's what you want to see in women's football. It's only going to get better from here. And, I mean, Marcelin and Brighton were the front runners all season. So you'd be thinking they'd be polling some votes.
I think early eyes for me is on Zoe Glascott, who had 62 goals from her 19 games. She kicked 10 against Collegians in round 12, 4 other hauls of 5 or more across the season, and believe that she has featured prominently in counts of previous years. Joey.
She has.
And that, again, comes back into that conversation that we're having about, how many goals do you have to kick in a game to be polling massive votes, and how often you have to do them, and is there therefore an expectation on you to kick a bag to poll votes? Let's see how she goes.
Well,
Crack the envelope.
I do think it is more prominent in the women's game than it is in the men's game. Goal kickers stand out a lot more to the umpires who do vote across all the women's sections, Suze. But let's go from 5 down to 1 in the Division 1 Women's 2024 Best and Fairest count.
So in equal 4th place on 14 votes, from Old Brighton, Sienna Courtney, and from Parkdale Vultures, Lucy Burgess. In 3rd place on 20 votes, from Marcelin, Zoe Glascott.
Oh, there she is. Podium finisher.
On 23 votes, in 2nd place, from Old Brighton, Lily Tate. And our winner of the Division 1 Women's Best and Fairest from Marcelin, Lani Payne.
27 votes. 4 clear in the end, 27 votes for Lani.
3 in the 20s, great count.
Yeah, that's a great count.
So if I've got this right, Alana Payne has spoken to us a few times.
She has. She took home the Best and Fairest last year in Division 1 Women's as well.
She is a 3-time member of the William Buck Premier Women's Team of the Year, and she was in the Division 1 Team of the Year last year. I think she's a captain of Marcelin.
I think that qualifies as having a glittering career, a decorated career.
Well, let's ask Lani Payne if she's had a glittering career. Hello, Lani Payne.
Hello, how are you?
Have you had a glittering career?
I wouldn't say glittering, but it has been a lot of fun so far. Thank you.
I would say it's outstanding, your career, Lani, because as Sue's mentioned, we have spoken to you before on the awards show. Where does this one sit for you?
Oh, I mean, every time I'm on here, I'm shocked. So last year I was shocked, and I'm shocked again, to be really honest with you, but very grateful. Thank you.
I mean, Lani, you've got plenty of accolades under the belt and well-deserved. I mean, you did secure the best on-ground medal in the grand final as well. Whilst you didn't take home the cup, you were the best player on the day. How did that feel? How was the game? What are your thoughts?
That best on-ground medal felt a little funny. I couldn't even tell you what happened on the day. It was such a blur. But, yeah, getting that medal, you know, when you're in a losing grand final, you think you've done everything that you can to win, and I hope that was the case. And, yeah, taking home a medal, whereas my teammates, we as a group didn't take that flag home, was tricky. But the best part of that day was all my teammates were so happy that we did take something home on behalf of me, and they were equally as proud and excited for that more than I was, to be honest, which was really nice. It was a tough day, but credit to Brighton, as you mentioned before, best team in Div 1 this year, deserved to win. They came out, they were the better team on the day, and yeah, I haven't quite looked back or watched the video yet, but you know, we walked off and thought we'd done as much as we could, and after about 30 minutes of feeling pretty sorry for ourselves, we were actually really okay with, you know, the loss, and knew that Brighton deserved it, and we're already looking towards next year, which is exciting.
So Lani came through Bulleen Templestowe through the youth girls program there, and then 106 games she's played for Marcelin since 2017, including a bunch of games in Premier Women's from 17 to 22. Coaches' votes this year in 15 of her 19 games. She kicked 13 goals, including 3 against Collegians and 3 against Old Haileybury. So 106 games so far for Marcelin, Lani. So you obviously like the place.
Oh, I love the place. I really do. Yeah, it's funny. I feel like I'm a veteran now. I've played 100 games there, which was fun. We got to celebrate that during the year. I actually shared the milestone game with Zoe Glaskett, who played 50. So we had a lot of fun that week leading up. And, yeah, no, I love the place, if that wasn't clear and obvious enough.
Lani, are you the first Marcelin woman to make it to 100 games? You were definitely one of the first to make it to 50.
Yes, I was. I was one of the first. I shared that with a former teammate as well, in Anya Marshall. And then, yeah, she's gone off to have some kids. So I kept going, and, yeah, I was the first woman at Marcelin to get to 100.
So yeah. I think there are 4 games this year where you weren't named in the best players. So what are you doing over the pre-season to remedy that?
Jeez. You've really let the team down there, Lani.
Cop that, Lani.
Well, the funny thing is, I've already had a bit of a think about what I'm going to do over pre-season. I always like to plan and make new goals. Even last year, after a really successful year individually, but as a group, you know, we all were like, what can we do next and what can we aim towards? I did the same thing then. You know, I wasn't quite done. I knew I could change my game a little bit, maybe be more dangerous up forward, which I worked on over the summer, over the year, and kicked a couple of goals where I could. But yeah, the funny thing is I will be probably planning over the pre-season very soon, once I have a bit of a break and a bit of a rest.
Just a tick across next to these quick questions for you, Lani. Is it true that you are known for rewatching your game as soon as they go up on VAFA TV to count your stats?
That is incorrect and false.
All right.
Well, in
Cross.
Div 1, our games aren't recorded anyway.
Oh, yes. Okay. Got to remember your stats off the top of your head. All right. Tick or cross next to this one. You've got the unofficial title of being the happiest girl in the VAFA.
That was said at one of our grand finals. It was commentated that I was the happiest girl in the VAFA, and that was years ago.
So you
and
do
I
watch
think
them back.
I'm happier these days. Maybe the grand final, the one we won. I think I might have watched that one back.
True or false, you were awarded the prom queen in 2018.
Done your research, yeah.
That's a tick. That's a tick. And lastly, you've just been talking about planning for 2025. Ahead of round one, do you lay out your kit a week out before the first game?
Maybe not a week out. Maybe a night before.
All right.
I do. It's like Christmas.
You can credit Annie Xanthos for that because on the Marshallam website it says Lani Payne is not surprising as the happiest girl in the VAFA for someone who organises her game day clothes a whole week out from round one every year.
That's so good.
Defamation. I knew I had to follow up with. I knew it would be Annie Xanthos.
Lani, we're just about to let you go. Congratulations on winning this award. As you did last year, you got the opportunity to thank a few people. We're going to give you the same chance to do so tonight.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to start by thanking my coaches, Paul Harvey and Luke Boyd. They keep me accountable always, whether it's improving my game or handing me the tools to be a better leader. I have really thrived under their guidance, and I'm incredibly grateful for their time and passion for this team as a whole. In addition to that, I'd like to thank the supports of Nat Gills, Chris Daly, Grant Hudson, Simon Abrahams, and Mark Rice, who have each helped in their own individual ways, which has been bigger than perhaps they realise. So I'd like to just shout them out. From that, I'd like to thank the Marsland community as a whole. I always feel entirely embraced and encouraged as a person and a player at this footy club. Obviously, I love it here, which is very special, and I'm proud to represent them all with this award. To my teammates, my dear friends, I just love spending all my spare time with them, and this award is just an accumulation of all the fun that I've had and the commitment that I feel towards the group. And lastly, I guess to my family, of course, my partner Nick. It's so gratifying to make them proud, and their support allows me to achieve things but also pushes me to places where I can better myself and develop as a person. So I always like to acknowledge that. And yeah, I'm sure I've missed people, but I could honestly be here all night. So I'll wrap it up there. Thank you.
Oh, beautifully said, Alana. Congratulations. You are the best player in the competition for Division 1 Women's. Enjoy your evening. We'll see you next Wednesday to collect your medal.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
Lani Payne, Division 1 Women's, Suze. Enormous achievement.
What a star. To do it back-to-back as well. Just a huge achievement, and credit to Lani for her fantastic season she's put together.
If you were ever playing football, Suze, would you put your kid out a week before the opening game of the year?
I reckon I would. Maybe not a week, but I'm definitely a little bit OCD like that. I'd like to get organised. And look, there are a few people trying to recruit me to come and play next year, so we'll see if I get on the boots.
What about you, Jace?
No one's recruiting me.
I put my binoculars out the day before I broadcast a game, purely because I'll forget them otherwise if I don't do so.
Do you have a footy bag that has all your gear in it?
Oh, just the usual bag that I carry everywhere. It's got about 6 laptops in it.
My bag's like a lady's handbag. It's got everything in there. It's just there's stuff in there I don't even know that's there.
Mary Poppins bag.
Correct. I can just dive into different pockets and it's got whatever you like in there.
Yeah, okay.
Accumulated over 25 years of, I might need that one day.
Okay. Interesting stuff. Paddy, do
Not
you
really.
Get yourself ready for a game like a week in advance like Lani Payne does?
Depends how much time I have, Joey, to prepare. I'd give myself 6 days, I reckon.
6?
Not quite a week in preparation.
No time to squeeze a haircut into those 6 days,
No.
obviously.
Let's head over to Premier B Women's now. Of course, this is the section before we get to the William Buck Premier Women's. Next week, we will be announcing the Shona McGuinness Medal at the San Remo Ballroom. Now, Sue's interesting competition was Premier B Women's this year.
It sure was, Joey. It was a real delight to watch. Some great football played, and some real up-and-comers through the ranks. I think a few clubs surprised us, a few players surprised us. You can't go past the grand final. It was a showdown between Fitzroy and Old Geelong, with Old Geelong just scraping through to claim that victory. What a season. This will be an interesting count.
The amazing thing about this season was Willie CYMS went 16 and zip through the regular season, and then Old Geelong were 13 and 3 and Fitzroy were 11 and 5. And then CYMS went out in straight sets. So they went 16 and 0 and then rolled up to the first week of the finals, got beaten by 3 goals by Old Geelong, then got beaten by Fitzroy by 2 points in an absolute thriller. And then, as Sue's mentioned, Old Geelong got the job done with a 7-point win in the grand final.
And you talk about that season for 16 and zip for CYMS, you think they'd be winning every game by heaps. But if you look at that Fitzroy defeat, they'd only beat them by 9 and 10 points throughout the season. So it's a lot closer than you would have thought. So third time lucky for the Roy's.
They didn't also have to just worry about Alessia Aquaro this year, Suze. They had goal kickers from Lauren Mills and Sophia Georges as well. They had goals coming out of everywhere, the CYs.
I know, you couldn't stop them during the season. They were the ones to watch, and I think a lot of clubs feared coming up against them through the season, but it was Old Geelong and Fitzroy, to their credit, who got the job done in the finals.
Okay, well, I'm expecting you to read out some names from Old Geelong, Fitzroy, and probably even Williamstown when we look at the top 5 for Premier B women's, please, Suze.
Let's get into it. And we do have another tie in 4th position. There's a lot of ties going on in the women's count. Mm-hmm. So on 14 votes in 4th position from St Bede's Mentone Tigers, Maddie Wilson, and from Fitzroy, Jamie Nelson. In 3rd place on 16 votes, also from St Bede's Mentone Tigers, Para Sherry. In 2nd place on 17 votes from Williamstown, Sarah Thomas. And our Premier B women's best and fairest on 28 points from Old Geelong, Brooke McKay.
28. She's won it by 11.
That's a runaway win.
That's a runaway win.
That's a runaway win from the girl out of Old Geelong. And I'm reliably informed Brooke is...
She's run away all the way to Sweden.
Yeah. And she's still ain't been able to answer the phone. Hello, Brooke McKay.
Hello. How are you?
Oh, going well. Not going as good as people going on in Sweden.
Yeah, it's pretty nice over here. Mind you, it is 5 a.m, so apologies if I'm not my most articulate self.
What's the climate like in Sweden at this time of year?
It's cooling down. It's sort of down 2 degrees every day, but it's beautiful still.
Brooke, this must be the cherry on top of an absolutely cracking season for you. Not only did you take home the premiership flag with the Augettes, the first senior flag for the club, I should mention, you captained the side, and now you've claimed the best and fairest for the competition. How do you feel?
It doesn't get much better than that, to be honest. I would have been happy with the premiership, but this is obviously, an amazing feeling and not something that you go into the season expecting. So, that's just, incredible way to finish off a very fun season for the Augs.
Well done on this accolade. And let's just backtrack a little, Brooke. Talk me through grand final day. I was there, and the final quarter was a nail-biter. There was one point where the Augs were 1 point ahead. I believe it was 29-30. And then Soph Rothfield kicks an absolute screamer to secure the win for the club. Talk us through that day and that final quarter and the moment.
The whole day really was, we talked a lot about it being such a mental game. We'd beaten Fitzroy during the season, but I think, as you were talking about earlier, Williamstown were always the team to beat for the whole season as a collective. So when it came down to grand final, both teams off the back of an unexpected win against Williamstown, I think we really just felt like it was a mental game. And we're going out there against a really strong headwind, a one-way wind against the goals. So it was about that momentum, not getting down, about the opposition scoring, which we knew Fitzroy were a really good side. That was bound to happen. And we kept ahead of them in the first 3 quarters. And then in that 4th quarter, they really pushed back against us and fought back. And that 1 point difference that came through on the 4th quarter was just terrifying, to be honest. But as you said, Rocky kicked that unbelievable goal that I think we've all watched on replay about 30 times each. It's just an absolute Rocky special, really, just the way she plays footy. but it just gave us that last little push of momentum to really, feel like we could just lock it in at that moment and run away with it at the end.
It's a damn good goal, and her dear dad, John Rothfield, the great Dr. Turf, has shown me about 600 times the vision of that goal. He's got it on his phone almost as a screensaver. Such is the dominance of that performance. Now, Brooke, you've been described on the Herald Sun website when you passed 50 games as a trailblazer for Old Geelong, and as Sue's called them, the Oggettes. How does it sit with you that you're a trailblazer at the Old Geelong Football Club?
I'm not sure about that, but I've certainly played a lot of games for them, so I've been around for a while at the Oggettes. It's an amazing club to be a part of, and I probably didn't expect to still be here, to be honest, but here I am.
87 games for Old Geelong since 2017. You poll coaches votes in 15 of the 18 games this year, Brooke, including the last 12 games of the season. Tell us a little bit about your game.
Sorry, what was that?
Tell us a little bit about your game. What sort of player are you?
Oh, I play in the midfield. I like to get a bit of run in. That's probably where I sort of thrive a little bit. I'm definitely one of the smallest players on the team, so I'm not relying on those big marks and big pack moments. Try and break away as much as I can and run away from the Sophia Rothfield as much as possible on the game.
You're in Sweden. How long are you away for? Are you back next week to collect your medal, or are you still gone?
No, unfortunately not. I'm actually on a 3-month holiday.
Oh, magnificent.
At the moment.
How good's your year been? You've won everything there is to win, and now you've got a 3-month holiday.
I know, yeah. Planned it pretty well, I think.
Do we give her the opportunity to say thanks, Jace? Or
she should. She's got lots to be thankful for.
Well, she's got 3 months' worth of thanks coming up, Brooke.
The floor is yours.
Thanks. It's just been an incredible year. Obviously, a huge thanks goes to Ogs as a footy club. They are just the most supportive group of people. And I was talking to a few people the other day, and we just said that you just attract a calibre of people at Ogs that are always just really lovely, supporting, and on the side seem to be pretty good footballers. So it's just lovely playing with such a great group of girls and also being part of such a great club in general. The big thanks obviously go to our coaching staff. Jack Crummers is the leading support there. He's our seniors coach and has just been an amazing part of the development of the club in general. And then we have some other coaching staff in Lockie, Mike, Nick, all people who just have a really big influence on the women's program and constantly put every part of their day into helping us. Lots of sponsors as well at Ogs who keep us going, the board and the president, Simon Bones, Jimmy Wright, they're all working day and night as well to keep the club going, and they're a really big foundation of that culture that we have as well. And the last one would have to be, of course, just the Ogs team, who not only the ones that ran out on the field during the game, but everyone else who played in the seniors and got us the wins throughout the year and built up the foundation of the team, but also our Resi's girls as well. Everyone just has a really big impact on the way we all play. And at the end of the day, not everyone can get to play on game day. So it's all about those people that make the club as a whole run the way it should, and also develop the skills and talent that we have within the team.
Well, congratulations, Brooke. It is an awesome achievement to put together the season that you have had. Enjoy your 3 months in Sweden, and we'll see you again in 2025.
Thank you very much. See you next season.
Congratulations to Brooke McKay from Old Geelong claiming the Premier B medal. She follows Jack Sheridan from Old Geelong, who won last year's alongside Benny Huggard. We'll take a quick break, and then after that we're into the under-19s as well as the Anytime Fitness Rising Star shortlist. Don't worry, next week we will have our winner for those. But after this, more from our 2024 VAFA Award Nights. We're here, all thanks to Mequikit. Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com. Any fitness, any ability, any goal, with 24/7 access to over 560 clubs around Australia. At Anytime Fitness, you will find your fit. Search Anytime Fitness today. Let's turn our attention to one of my favourite sections in the competition, lads, the Mequicare Masters. I had a great fun in 2023 with Josh Herrick calling the grand final here at Elstonwick Park. It was a great day, and I love seeing Jace, the old blokes, put the boots back on, and they have a great time when they're out there on the field.
Well, you speak about for the love of the game. This is almost the ultimate in it, isn't it, when you talk about for the love of the game? Blokes that are out there putting their bodies on the line and feeling it for about 4 or 5 days afterwards before they've got to do it all over again.
Now, Paddy, of course, you're the most youthful of the three of us sitting here. Surely, when it comes to your eligibility, you'll want to put the boots on for the Masters.
I'm a long way away. I think I'm a good 12 years away from qualification. I actually, back in my hometown, I used to run around umpiring the Masters. You'd see some fantastic efforts for the first 4 minutes of every quarter. Not so much for the next 16 afterwards.
All right. It is now time to award our Mequicare Masters Best Player for 2023, Jason. As we've already done so with a few other sections, we're going 5 up to 1. How does it look, please?
Well, it's actually a 6-way tie for third. So we're going to start with all those on 3 votes. From Marcelin, Jason Wood. From Marcelin, Tim Montagna. From De La Salle, Jackson Manning. From Marcelin, Dustin Cracknell. From De La Salle, Daniel Close. From Marcelin, Simon Abrahams. All on 3 votes, so they're all tied for third. In second position, from Preston, Adam Lancaster, 7 votes. And our winner of the Best and Fairest for the Mequicare Masters for 2024 on 8 votes, from Marcelin, Steve Crapper.
Handy crowd in for Steve.
Steve's brought his cheer squad.
Handy crowd in for Steve, and he's, you know what, hanging on the line.
Hey, g'day, Steve.
Crowd's going wild, aren't they?
Congratulations. So, a little bit of background on Steve. 39 years of age. He's played 217 games at Marcelin. Played a couple of seasons of Premier Men's, 2009, 2010, so about 15 years ago. Kicked 10 goals this season. Steve, congratulations.
Thank you, fellas. I just would like to shout out to Jace, my brother, who's Jason Wood, who came third. I beat ya.
Steve.
He's got a different last name because he couldn't hack it. So.
Steve, as you're listening to Jace read out those names, half of them are the Marcelin team. Very even side you got there at Marcelin.
No, a lot of them I played footy with during my career. So I've been playing footy since I was 20 and I've only missed 1 year. So, you know, we've all got long-lasting relationships and, yeah, it's good to get around it.
What kind of footballer are you, Steve, at Masters level?
Oh, I'm only a small bloke, so, yeah, just anywhere they'll fit me, really. Forward, mid, whatever. Hate backline.
So you kicked 10 goals this year, so you found a few majors. Have you been a goal kicker for most of your career?
Oh, they used to call me the Wizard, so...
The Wizard?
Fantastic. Nick Watson style with the celebrations and the haircut and everything, Steve?
Nah, I'm not that arrogant, but yeah.
Steve,
I've kicked a few rippers in their time.
Good man.
Steve, just before we went through the votes, I know you're hanging on the line, having a listen to what we were talking about. Do you enjoy the fact that it's every 2 weeks you get to play? It's not week in, week out that you've got to put your body on the line?
Yeah, you do notice that it does get a bit harder as you get older. Definitely don't think I could play every week because it takes you about the 2 weeks to recover. So,
what does playing footy mean to you, Steve?
Oh, it's everything. It's good for your mental health. Good to see your mates. You have a beer after the game. You know, keeps you busy. Otherwise, I wouldn't do any exercise and I just get real fat. So, you know, it's good for your mental health.
Anyone you'd like to thank, Steve, or you want to just take a look glory yourself, and that's absolutely fine.
Oh, I'd just like to thank Jace, my brother, for not winning it, and I won. So, hope he's listening.
He's probably just turned it off, I'd suggest. Hey, Steve, congratulations. You're our Best and Fairest winner for the Mequicare Masters for 2024. Well done.
No problem. Thanks, fellas.
Love chatting to Steve Crapper from Marcellin, the Mequicare Masters, and looking forward to what's in store next year. Paddy, you're still 12 years away from playing in the Masters, so
I'll bide my time.
He's working up to it.
It's a long pre-season.
Get your body right. I would not be surprised if in 12 years Fitzroy has a team in the Masters, so you can pull on the old Roy's jumper. Jace, before we go into the under-19 sections, which is where we are now up to in this lengthy rundown, about this time of the night, we start to look at the Anytime Fitness Rising Stars, and you've done a great job this year, along with the committee, in nominating one each week in both the men's and women's competition. We whittle those down to 5, and then, of course, next week we announce who is the Rising Star. Previous winners when it comes to the men, we're talking about Bailey Pays. He is an awesome achievement with Old Peninsula. I reckon my man Harry Hill might have won it a few years ago as well. I think Hamish Dick might have won one. We both played, of course, in the grand final. Well, Hamish Dick did. Harry did in 2022, and he is the captain of Old Brighton. It's a time-honoured award, the Rising Star.
Let's start with our women, our top 5 women. Here's the short list, with the winner to be, as you said, announced next week at the awards show on Wednesday night. From Box Hill North, Lily Griffiths. From Caulfield Grammarians, Zoe McCurdy. From Caulfield Grammarians, Charlie Anderson. From Collegians, Crystal Russell. And from UHS VU, Ava Menard. They are our top 5 in the Anytime Fitness Women's Rising Star for 2024.
Awesome to hear those names. I reckon Crystal Russell played some VFLW football this year. Did you say she's from Collegians?
Yep.
Yes, she did play some VFLW football. I do remember calling a couple of her games. Very good footballer.
And our men's top 5 Anytime Fitness Rising Stars for 2024. From Caulfield Grammarians, Noah Sutherland. From Collegians, Josh Walker. From Old Brighton, Jonah Campili. From Old Carey, Isaac Elwood. And from St Kevin's, Liam Walters.
Oh, that's a tough one.
That's a handy 5.
That's a really good 5.
Did you say there was a boy from Collegians there?
Josh Walker.
Okay, well, put a line through Josh, I reckon. He's got the same name as Harriet, and he's from Collegian. So you're down to 4, I reckon.
Is Harriet on the Rising Star Committee?
There's no purple blazer here.
I just can't
But you're right. That is a stacked field.
Even Isaac Elwood's done really well this year.
In a premiership team.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Awesome.
It's a good dynamic of players as well. You've got the key forwards, you've got the mids. I reckon Joey Campilli is going to be really tough to beat in that count. Looking forward to who the committee spit out on the awards night.
Even just coming up with the top 5 shortlist from the extended list. Really tough task. There were just guns every single week.
I don't envy committee having to put that together.
It was a big year for the Anytime Fitness Rising Star, which brings us into our under-19 divisions.
The next generation of stars come out of the under-19s, and as someone who played, I think, 4 years at the under-19s, I know a lot about these sections.
You're an under-19s Hall of Famer.
I started when I was 15 in the under-19s and hung around for a very long time out at the Snake Pit back in the day, but this is not about me. We're looking at Division 2 men's, first of all, Jace. So we're going from the top 5. Have we got 5 this section, or is there 6 or 7?
Let me just
There's so many talented kids in the under-19s.
Oh, we've got a tie for 5th, so it's the top 6.
Okay, top 6. Let's hear them from 6, 4th up to 1 when they're all tied together.
Bearing in mind, in this division, Uni Blues defeated Old Camberwell by 1 point to win the premiership. This is under-19s Division 2 men's. This is our top 5, tied for 5th on 11 votes. From Old Camberwell, Freddie Askew. From Old Camberwell, Ben Carlisle. In 4th position, on 12 votes, from Old Camberwell, Josh Davidson. 3rd position, 13 votes, from Oakley, Jonah Gergis. 2nd position, 14 votes. This is pretty tight. Lockie Webber from Parkside.
That is tight.
And then our runaway winner on 28 votes. Double anyone else in the competition from Old Camberwell, the winner of our Holmes Glen Under-19 Division 2 Men's Best and Fairest for 2024, Sam Woods.
Don't they go wild for Sam?
The Woodsmen are in the house. Sam, congratulations.
Hello, guys. Thank you so much for having me. Firstly, I'm a bit speechless at the moment. Sort of hear it in my words, but thank you so much for having me. I'm really wrapped. Had a great season, enjoyed the footy, so it's always good to get seen at the end of it.
Sam, I think this is the most comprehensive winning margin that we see across all our competitions. You've got double the votes of anyone out in Holmes Glen Under-19's Div 2 men's. How have you done it?
Mate, we had our our club best and fairest the other night, and obviously you get to talking to the senior boys, the Resi's boys, and some of the girls there as well. And a lot of the sort of players, they ask, when you have a good season, they ask sort of what you're doing, how you prepare. And I think the main answer for me is I sort of just enjoyed my football, and I played off instinct and played very freely. Wasn't sort of thinking about too much of it. Just sort of played as I did when I was a kid, just enjoying the footy. And I think that's, for me, the biggest thing on how I just play my best footy, just enjoying it and not sort of thinking about each game too much, because then I sort of get in my head. So I think that's probably the biggest thing for me. I sort of had a couple of years where in, year 11 and 12 where I was sort of, too focused on it, and I'm a bit obsessive with it all. And that was sort of a challenging couple of years, but ever since after school, I've sort of just laid back and just accepted, footy's there to be played and just have fun with your friends. So that's sort of what I did this year, and it's paid off really well, which is cool.
Certainly has. So you started out in Greythorn, right, in the YJFL. Did you also play at Baldwin?
I played for Greythorn Falcons, yes.
Yep.
I also played for
Burundara Hawks,
as well,
yeah.
Yeah. Greythorn folded eventually, so we switched to Burundara Hawks, and then was through to school footy, and then stopped club I think it was about 15, 16 years old, maybe a bit later. And then I just went from school from there. Yeah.
So you're in the coaches' votes for 12 of the 19 games this year, including the grand final. You kicked 13 goals. What sort of player are you?
I like to think I'm an inside midfielder. A lot of people look at me and say he doesn't look like an inside mid because I don't have a massive body, but that's where I've played since I was a young kid, and it's just where I play my best footy. I try and I do a lot of look at like Will Ashcroft and Lockie Neal, a lot of those players on how they deliver the ball with their hands. I think that's probably my best strength. Just the handballing and the ability to be clean down low and get it off quickly to your teammates. I think that's a big thing for me and probably my best strength. But I think like I've sort of taken my game to a new level this year where I'm trying to kick maybe a goal a game. I'm sort of pushing forward a little bit and just try to impact the scoreboard. I'm just trying to, be the best player I can for the team and not only rack up, a fair few possessions, but, have those possessions be pretty damaging and hitting kicks inside 50, maybe hitting the scoreboard as well. So that's sort of what I've done this year and in changing my game a little bit from the previous years where I was just trying to get a lot of touches and deliver the ball by hand. But I think, I've just been, pretty damaging with my foot as well, not only on the scoreboard, but hitting players inside 50 and then sort of keeping that handball game pretty strong. You mentioned you had the club best and fairest the other night. You've streeted the field in the league best and fairest. How'd you go at the club BNF? I think I got up by 35 votes. My brother's on the committee for the club, and he's done a great deal of work with sort of getting it all organised. And I think another big thing is earlier you asked, how I was able to do such a good job this year, and I think it's because I'm at a club with such good culture, and everyone knows who everyone is, and there's a lot of relationships that go on. And I think when you're at a club that's so dominant and doing actually a really good job, like our senior boys are in Premier B this year, which is a great effort. I think when you're at a club like that, you can just sort of, again, just play your footy and have fun with your mates, because it doesn't sort of feel like a job. It just sort of feels like you're going to training when you're a young kid and playing footy, because that's what we're all doing, man. Like, you just want to play the game and have a good time doing it. So the club's been great. A lot of support, a lot of networking around, and yeah, it's been a great year. Really good year. Congratulations, Sammy. You've won the GW McTaggart Medal for the third time in the history of Old Camberwell. The last couple came in the 90s. You're the first under-19 winner for the club since 2012. Tommy Shipper did it in Division 3 men's. Before we let you go, the floor is yours to say a few more thank yous to the people who helped you out throughout the year. Thanks, mate. Firstly, thank you to my family. They've been on the journey of footy for me for a very long time. In particular, my dad. No disrespect to anyone else, but Dad in particular, he's been a huge support for me. Just day in, day out, sending me quotes on just being determined and resilient, or having an hour chat at home, whatever it is, he's always been there for me, and can't thank him enough for what he's done. Also to my mates out there maybe listening, particularly from Kenwell Grammar, amazing support again from you guys. You've been unbelievable. It was an honour to captain you boys this year and have a great year. Unfortunately, we didn't get the job done, but we had a great year nonetheless, and a lot of memories to be made certainly this year. So thank you to you boys. And then the extended family as well, not just the immediate. I've had, grandparents and cousins and all those sort of people to come down and support me. So it's definitely been a team effort. Which is great. And lastly, don't want to forget the coaches as well at the club. Senior coaches, not only the 19s coach, Al Rodster, he's been great, but also the senior coaches as well. They've chatted to me throughout the year, communicated, how I'll look in the next couple of years at the club. And it's been a great team effort. And I've had an absolute blast playing this year. So thank you so much for having me, guys. It's been a great year, as I said, and we're looking forward to 2025.
Well played, Sammy. Congratulations on streaking the field in the Division 2 men's GW McTaggart medal. We will see you next Wednesday night to collect your trophy. Enjoy your evening.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Let's head over to Division 1 men's. By the way, congratulations to Sammy Woods, who we just spoke to from Old Camberwell. Division 1 men's, Jace. I've definitely got a little bit of vested interest in this section.
St Bernard's finished top of the ladder.
That's why I've got some vested interest in this.
So they would have gone on. Did they win the flag? Let's just have a quick flick. No. 21 points short of Hampton in the grand final.
Now, this is a topic that's been
Hampton
getting around HQ.
Also knocked them off in the first semi quite comfortably.
You're right, 35 points.
I think a young fella kicked 7 from Hampton on that day. He might be the captain. Charlie Kilburn, I think the Peacock told me his name was.
Yeah, the number 25.
He said, keep an eye on this kid going forward for the Rovers. He might be in the senior side next year in Premier B, Paddy.
Yes, I might get to know him pretty well in that case.
So I'll be interested to see where he goes in the voting counting, which we are about to do. Old Carey, of course, have a team in this section. So do you, Paddy. You being Fitzroy, that is.
You.
And I think Glen Ira, Old McKinnon as well are another side that does feature in Division 1 under-19s. So do we need to go through anything else, or can we just get to the votes? Because, as you said, St Bernard did lose the grand final, so I don't want to spend a hell of a lot of time talking about
to the envelope.
The Snow Dogs getting beaten in the biggest day of all. Mind you, congratulations, it must be said, to Hampton Rovers. That's a terrific win.
Well, the Roys missed the top 4 on percentage as well in this division, so let's crack that.
You just want to move on? I'll just open the envelope then and we'll move on. Tie for 5th position.
Ooh.
On 14 votes from Glen Ira, Old McKinnon, Jasper Waldron. Also on 14 votes, tied for 5th from Hampton Rovers, Kai Carrigan. In 4th position, on 15 votes, from Fitzroy, Seb Suarez. In 3rd position, on 16 votes, from St Bernard's, Naziah Mora McDonald. 2nd position, 20 votes, Old Carey, Archer Simpson, our winner, on 24 votes of the Holmes Glen Under-19 Division 1 Men's Best and Fairest for 2024 from the Hampton Rovers, Charlie Kilburn.
That's a great win for Charlie.
24 votes ahead of Archer Simpson on 20, with Naziah Mora McDonald finishing on the podium with 16. Charlie's a 20-year-old. He's come through the East Sandy Juniors until Hampton Rovers Under-19s in 2022. So he's had a couple of seasons there, 3 seasons now with the Rovers. He kicked 61 goals, 8 against Glen Ira, Old McKinnon, 7, as you mentioned, against St Bernard's in the second semi. Also had a haul of 6 against Old Zab. So there we have it, boys. We have a big goal kicker polling some serious votes.
Killer is his nickname down at the Hampton Rovers, and Killers joins us on the line. Congratulations, Killer.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Bit of a shock.
Can I ask you, before we do talk about this terrific achievement, the final series, I did get told, unfortunately, that maybe grand final day didn't quite go the way, from an individual perspective, you'd hoped it would have gone for you.
Yeah, unfortunately, about midway through the second, I had a pretty big tackle and I got up a bit dazed, but I felt all right. And then when I was coming off at half time, I kind of lost it a bit. So we decided to call it there, but I was happy to see the boys get over the line in the second half.
An awesome win by the football club. As we did mention, Charlie, in the little preamble, that you were able to kick 7 2 weeks out from the grand final against St Bernard's to help the Rovers book the spot in the grand final. But I was told that despite the concussion, you did speak beautifully after the game. What does it mean, the fact that you are a premiership player with the Hampton Rovers in the under-19s?
Oh, it's pretty massive. I think if you told us 2 years ago in the 19s that we'd be fighting for a premiership this year and even winning one, we'd all be pretty shocked. Came pretty close in a prelim last year, but couldn't get over the line against Trinity. And, yeah, it was just massive for us to come through this year. We struggled with numbers partway through the year, and just to get up and get over the line towards the end of the year was unreal.
I've seen you've played a game in C Reserve last year and you had the one game in thirds, if I'm correct, this year. Is the aspiration for you to be playing a fair bit of senior footy in 2025?
I'd hope so. I'll definitely get down to pre-season. I kind of missed pre-season last year, but for this year I was definitely there putting in the work. So I'll just put in the work over the off-season and see where that can take me.
61 goals, Charlie. Great season. Are you a tall forward or a small forward or a medium-sized forward?
Pretty mid-sized, I'd say. I'm about 6 foot, so I'm not short, but I'm definitely not super tall full forward.
So a marking goal kicker or a sort of a crumbing goal kicker?
Last year I would have said more marking, but this year I think I've been a bit better down on the ground and probably not as many big marks as maybe last year.
Collingwood 6-footer.
Yeah, well, 61 goals, a fantastic performance, and leading his team into a grand final and then a premiership's a wonderful effort. What have you made of Division 1 under-19s footy? As I said, Charlie, you've sort of been around the under-19s comp for a few years now. Do you feel like the standard's continually on the improve?
I think so. I think the footy's just getting better and better, and the boys, you can see the teams improve throughout the year. Last year was a tough one with Bowie kind of dominating the comp, and we thought it might be the same with St Bernard's this year, but I think all the teams started to catch up towards the second half of the year, and it made for a really interesting finals run and all the way through to the grand final, I think.
What about your teammate Kai Carrigan? We just read out the votes. He finished in, equal fifth with 14. What's his role in your team?
He's an inside mid, occasionally resting on the half back. He's unreal. His ball sense and his sense of where the tacklers are around him and his outlet handball is unreal. So it's unreal having him deliver the ball down forward for us. He's elite.
And Zach Zeisling, he was the best player on the ground in the grand final against St Bernard's. He's just another one that Rovers fans can keep an eye on over the next couple of years.
Oh, big time. I think he might have had a sneaky call-up to the ones at some point, but I think he might have turned it down for some 19s footy.
Turned it down?
Maybe, allegedly.
Okay.
Allegedly.
I can't speak on that too much, but yeah, he's took a few years off. He played at the Rovers through juniors, and some boys convinced him to come back. And since round one, he's just been a godsend for us. Pretty dominant in the ruck, great around the ground, pretty good kick as well for a ruckman, which is awesome. He's been great to have.
Have you won individual awards like this before, Charlie, or is this your first one?
I won the leading goal kicker last year and runner-up in the league best and fairest, but I missed out by a vote, unfortunately. So, pretty good to get up this year. I think I was pretty shocked when I heard that I was even in the top 5. So, pretty wrapped.
Hey, Charlie, I'm sure there's a few people you'd like to thank.
Yeah, definitely Cags and Brendan, our coaches down at Hampton, Pete, the team manager, my parents, obviously, for supporting, and just the whole Rovers Football Club. I think this year especially we've taken a real positive turn with our premiers being promoted to Prem B, and with our 19s winning the flag. I think we're doing pretty well as a footy club, and there's a lot of exciting stuff to come.
Congratulations, Charlie. Awesome individual season. 61 goals, you said, Jace. 7 in a final is no mean feat. You're the premiership captain. Even if you can't remember the second half, you do have a premiership medallion around your neck, mate. Well played, and hopefully we see you in the ones next year. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Sam Woods from Old Camberwell, Hampton Rovers, Charlie Kilburn. Now we get to the Under-19 Premier Men's competition, Jason. I love the Under-19s, as I've already mentioned a couple of times. Over the journey, I spent a lot of time playing Premier Men's football. Next generation players for our competition come from these sections. So this is a coveted award in our competition.
And it was a fantastic comp this year. The top four ended up being Old Brighton, 15-3, 2 games ahead of St Kevin's, another game back to Old Scotch and Uni Blues. They were the top four. And then we saw it right throughout September on Community TV. We saw all these games broadcast live. They were fantastic. Old Brighton fell 4 points short of St Kevin's, had a kick for goal at the death there out at Box Hill that dropped short. So St Kevin's went straight through to the grand final. Old Brighton then beat Old Scotch in the prelim. And then grand final day, Old Brighton managed to get up by 4 points in an absolute thriller as well to win the flag. So it was Old Brighton over St Kevin's, and just a really, really good standard of football with some great teams.
So I'm looking forward to the names that you're about to read out, because these kids, as I said, will go on and play senior football at their respective clubs. What interests me about this particular section before you do is the University Blues when it comes to the under-19s, because these are kids usually from the country who come down.
Yep.
They're probably studying at Melbourne University, and if they finish their degree, they don't obviously tend to hang around at Melbourne Uni. They might roll away to other places, so they don't tend to come through from the under-19s. But if they're able to get a couple stick around, then they make up the nucleus of what's coming for the future of the University Blues.
And I also like it, if you go to clubs like St Kevin's and Old Brighton, that we actually saw these kids get feeded through the senior squad. This big story that we had through our year was Joey Campili, who came from the 19s, then dominated in Premier football. But then you've got guys like George Dillamitro, who joined us on For the Love of the Game, who's the captain of the St Kevin's team, who got an extended run for the Scobbers. Really looking forward to seeing how those guys who've been bled in Premier football can then go on after coming back to the 19s, dominating hopefully in the final series, and then gearing up for a big 2025.
Let's hear the top 5 for the under-19 Premier Men's competition, please.
Envelope, please. Here we go. Top 5. In 5th position on 12 votes from Old Scotch, Jake Phillips. In 4th position on 14 votes from University Blues, Carl Zebath.
Ooh.
3rd position on 16 votes from Old Brighton, Mason Zonyi. And in 1st position on 17 votes, we have a tie.
A tie.
Oi.
Between St Bede's Mentone Tigers, Sacha Damashki, and University Blues, Luca DeLello.
Wow,
17 votes. A tie between Luca and Sacha. And then Mason Zonyi just 1 vote back. So just 1 vote separating the top 3 players. Congratulations to all of them. Where do you want to start, Joey?
I want to start at the University Blues with Luca DeLello. 39 goals from 18 games. He played 1 reserves game. He also played in that showcase game.
He did.
In the middle of the year. So I want to start with the team out at the Melbourne Uni Oval. And Luca's been good enough to join us. Hello, Luca. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Joe. Oh, it's fantastic.
Did you have an expectation on this at the start of the season?
No, not at all. It's my second year playing footy, so
What?
no, this is not in the books.
Oh, how easy is footy?
Yeah.
How easy is footy when you kick 39 goals in your second year?
Yeah, it's I had a great team around me though, so it's pretty easy when they feed you the ball like that. But yeah, Carl Zebath finishing up there with me as well. He was probably one of the ones who gave me quite a few goals as well out the middle. But yeah, no, just really honoured, mate. Thank you very much.
You've had a stellar year, mate. The 39 goals, named the best players 10 times. You run home of your last 10 games of the season. You have multiple goals in 9 of them, including 6 against Old Scotch. What kind of player are you, and what can we look forward to seeing from you, hopefully, in the years to come in Premier football?
I just, give it my all when I'm out there. Just try and improve every game I play. And just really work with my teammates. At the end of the day, it's a team sport. So as much as this is an individual award, it wouldn't be, without the work that all my teammates give, from the back line through the mid and obviously up to me where I'm lucky enough to finish off the result. So yeah, just hopefully trampoline from this and play some better footy next year and just keep on getting better.
Are you a marking forward or a crumbing forward, Luca?
Marking forward. I consider myself a bit of a big, at least in the ammos, and then I don't know, senior footy next year, I'll probably be one of the smaller ones, but I'll still try and get a few hangers here and there. Be nice.
Please do. That'll be exciting. You mentioned you're fairly new to footy, so how did you get into it? Is this a situation where you've come down maybe to open day and you've been dragged along to training? Take us through your footy journey.
So I had
obviously I played a couple games in school in year 12, just as a bit of fun, and then
Where'd you go to school,
ended,
Luca?
headed to Melbourne Uni. I'm from Fitzroy, so I'm not exactly one of the country boys like a lot of the team is. More of a local. Uni's about a 10-minute walk for me, so it's pretty easy to get to training as well, which is a good perk. But yeah, no, I just came down. A mate was just like, "Oh, I'm playing," convinced me to join, convinced me to play along, and I was fortunate enough last year to have a run in the Prems last year. Tried to improve as much as I could. And then went from there, and here we are now.
Look, I've got a personal question for you. Do you have a job at the moment outside of studying?
So I coach water polo.
Oh, nuts. Water polo job. I'll ask you about that in a sec. I just wanted to know if it makes you a little bit of money because Joel Kennedy, who's been the under-19 scribe this year for the competition, has written about you every single week, which means that's a fine on a Thursday night at the football club for being on Media Street. 18 weeks in a row, I reckon he's written about you. You mustn't have much money left, Luca.
Yeah, no, I think I need to find myself a better job and pay a bit more.
I would have hoped water polo would pay pretty well, considering it's a bit of a boutique sport, mate. That's outstanding stuff.
Yeah, it goes all right.
Yeah, what are you studying, Luca?
So I'm doing commerce and engineering, double at Melbourne right now.
Well, what else would they be studying at Melbourne Uni, Jason?
Commerce at Melbourne University.
They're going to start sport and recreation.
That's a glittering alumni of people that have done commerce at Melbourne University over the years.
Did you just point at yourself?
The self-insertion is unbelievable.
He squeezed himself in there.
He's copping straight from Luca as well.
It's been nice chatting, Luca.
Luca, I want to go
Mate, you've got a career in media coming for you, mate.
I think Luca might have a spot on for the love of the game next year.
Lock yourselves in, mate.
Luca, I just want to go back.
I'll try and take your jobs next year.
They've got some Riz, these young kids, don't they?
Don't say Riz, Joey.
I want to go back.
It just sounds creepy.
Well, I don't know where it came from. It's just someone said you got to use the word Riz when you talk about the under-19s. Look,
too much TikTok for you.
I just want to go back to the water polo thing. Like how does someone get into that?
You jump in the pool.
That was what
Not
I
literally.
played all the way through school. Yeah, you put your togs on. You get nice tight budgies.
Do we need to draw a diagram for you, Joey? It's pretty simple.
Right, and you're coaching now.
Yeah, so I coach out at Campbell Grammar. So just cute little gig out there. Boys are pretty good. It's pretty easy. But yeah, that was my life before footy, and now just focus on footy.
Mate, you've been on fire for the entirety of this interview, so now this is the real make or break moment, mate. Let's have some thank yous. I'm sure there's a few people that you'd like to thank.
I hope you thank the Aussie Stingers.
I hope so as well.
Yeah, no, look, I've mentioned the team a lot. And a lot of this award is just, it's not a personal award, as I said, so I just like to thank all the boys, all the Uni boys. And then from that, obviously the coaches. I'll give a personal thank you to Stephen Boakes. He's coached me his last 2 years. He's helped me a lot of late night calls, giving me tips, giving me advice. And I certainly sort of wouldn't be in this position without him. And then further from that, sort of the extended club, Prez, everyone else that works around the club. It takes a lot of people to get a team out in the park every week, from team managers, physios, doctors. So, yeah, everyone that's sort of helped me out throughout the years, thank all them. And then, yeah, obviously family's a big thing as well to me. I'm still living at home, so appreciate all the support from parents, sister. Just been, great support throughout the last couple of years. And I wouldn't be able to make to the early games on Saturday sometimes without mum giving me a lift or, stuff like that. So yeah, just really appreciative of everyone, and it's an award for everyone who's helped me along the way, not just me. So thank you guys.
Super job, Luca. We'll see you for round one for the love of the game, I think, in the studio.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, guys.
Congratulations to Luca DeLallo from the University Blues. Let's head to our other winner from St Bede's Mentone Tigers, Sasha Damashki, equal on 17 votes. He has been good enough to join us. Congratulations, Sash.
Oh, thank you so much. Far out. Honestly, I didn't expect it. But my heart's actually racing. I'm sitting here with my uncle. It is, my God, I don't know how to explain it.
That is an awesome achievement. Sasha, congratulations. 13 games this year in the under-19s. I think you had 3 or 4 games in the reserves as well, which is obviously a great opportunity to be asked to play.
And 3 in the seniors as well, I believe.
3 in the seniors. Well done. What a year.
So I played, first 3 games of the year in the seniors. So I missed the first 4 games for the under-19s. And yeah, to win it, that's unreal. I don't know how to. I'm lost for words, to be honest.
Well, tell us about your role in the team. I mean, what enabled you to get the opportunity, first of all, to play in the seniors at the start of the year, and then when you did come back to the under-19s, what position do you play, through the midfield or up forward? What's your role?
Yeah, so at the start of the year, so this is my first year at the club. I was playing at my other club, Edithvale Aspendale, in the MP NFL, and one of the senior coaches moved over to St. Bede's and he got me across as well. So I was like, all right, cool, senior opportunity. Let's try to play as many games as possible. So I played the first 3 games of the year and then went back down to the under-19s. And from there, it was just about playing midfield, forward, and just building my confidence back up to try to get me back into the seniors. I didn't get to play another seniors game, but I think being at a new club, just being able to develop a relationship with the boys that I'm probably going to be playing senior footy with over the next 3 to 4 years, and we're going to be that team from which we were in the under-19s. It probably built that relationship I had with them, and then from there, I was just able to be myself. I was fortunate enough to captain the side for the second half of the year. A bit upsetting that we didn't get to play in the finals, but no, it was unreal to play in a new competition, be at a new club, and just feel welcomed by everybody. So yeah, I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful for the opportunity, and it's unreal to hear that I've won it. Yeah, I don't know how to explain that, to be honest.
So, Jason Joey, I had the pleasure of speaking to Brad Berry pretty much every week about the Premier B side of things, and he would always mention about the young guys coming through at the Tigers. They had this sort of critical balance of under-19s talent. Who do you hang out with at the club, mate?
At the club, obviously being my first year, at the start of the year, I was quite a bit shy, but I think I was able to build a connection with pretty much everyone from like the second I stepped in. When the boys found out that I was committed, they got around me. They were able to make me feel welcomed. And yeah, but I think probably learning off a lot more of the senior boys and the senior coaches, that probably helped elevated my level. And then just learning from everyone and getting advice from everyone just made everything so much better. And yeah, and I think, yeah, so it's hard to explain. I'm a bit lost for words. So
good on you.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're going. You're going.
I'm just trying to, like, everyone at the club just made me feel so welcome. So I was able to hang out with everyone. But two of the boys that I usually hung out with, Cam Saltry and Jack Ferraro, those boys got to play seniors all year, played all their juniors at St. Bede's as well. So for them two boys to actually build a connection with, and for them to also be under-19s eligible, and for them to be playing senior footy all year is probably what I aspire to do next year and be in a similar position to them. So I think that's probably who I hung out with most and who I was able to create a relationship with.
And I'm sure.
Being in a similar position.
Sorry, Shash. I'm sure there's a few people that you'd like to thank.
Oh yeah, for sure. A person I'd like to thank is my uncle Adam Damashki. He's helped me out heaps in regards to my football. Just everything from dieting to training to just believing in me. Another one would be my mum as well. Obviously, throughout juniors, getting me there to training, getting me there to games, and just being able to put me in a position to succeed. A lot goes into her as well. Yeah, and then another one is just I don't know. I've got that much family. It's hard to go through all of them. So I'm just trying to think. Yeah, it's probably those are the main two. My uncle David as well comes to every game that he can, and then with my dad not being around as well, to have those father figures in my life, it makes everything a lot more worth it. It makes everything a lot more enjoyable for when I do succeed and have opportunities like this. So yeah, I just like to thank them for helping me out as much as they can.
An awesome effort, Sash, to be voted as the best player in the under-19 Premier Men's competition from St. Bede Mentone Tigers. Congratulations, enjoy your evening, and we'll see you next Wednesday night.
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks, heaps, boys. Appreciate it. I'll see you soon. Look forward to it.
Congratulations to both Sasha Damashki and Luca DeLallo. Both of them could be in contention for the love of the game next year, let's be honest.
Serious media superstardom for the pair of them.
In fact, even Charlie Kilburn had a bit of riz. Sammy Woods had some riz.
What's going on with the under-19s?
What's going on with the riz? Can we just park that?
I don't know. It's just they've been watching too much hockball.
You did fit Hock Tour into a Channel 7 broadcast this year.
Guys, as I always say, it's not about me.
What about the little clip Luca gave him on the way through?
How about that?
That was top
We'll
shelf.
we'll never be hearing from Luca again.
I'm looking forward to a bit later on before we do take a very quick break. We will do our top moments of 2024. That's going to feature, I reckon.
I think it might do.
I think that might be poor 24 if that's right.
That might be podium stuff. What about... I'm glad this is radio only, Jace, because no one else saw the finger go up.
Oh, yeah. The top was well and truly blown.
We're going to take a break. That is all.
We're going to cool down Jace a little bit too.
The women's stuff has been done. The under-19s, the Anytime Fitness Rising Stars shortlist. After this, we look at the men's competition from Division 3 right up to the GT Moore Medal for Premier B. We're back shortly. You are listening to the 2024 edition of the VAFA Awards Night. Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com. Any fitness, any ability, any goal, with 24/7 access to over 560 clubs around Australia. At Anytime Fitness, you will find your fit. Search Anytime Fitness today. Hope you're enjoying the coverage of the 2024 Amos Awards Night. We're here all thanks to Mekwakepi, thanks to Susan Miller, who helped us out with all the women's votes. Just before the break, we went through the under-19s, the shortlist for the Anytime Fitness Rising Star in both men's and women's. Next week, Wednesday night at the San Remo Ballroom, we'll announce the winner of those. It's now time, lads, to look ahead to the men's section. We'll start from Division 3 and work our way up to the GT Moore Medal for Premier B. Interesting case study was Division 3 this year, Jace. We obviously lost Division 4 over the off-season. This was an 11-team competition. North Brunswick took it all before them throughout the home and away season. I know St John's fought back at them in the back half of the year. It played out in intriguing fashion throughout September as well.
It was fantastic competition this year, and great that we saw... In the end, as it turned out in the grand final day, it was Canterbury and St John's. We had that game live streaming on VAFA TV, and I remember sitting at home watching that game, and it was just fantastic. Down, it was over at Hadfield at Martin Reserve. It was a game that was full of passion and excitement. Look, in the end, as you mentioned, North Brunswick went 15-2. They were a game clear of St John's in second. Powerhouse sat third and Canterbury fourth. And then Richmond Central fifth, because it was a top five, obviously, as you mentioned, 11 teams in the competition. It was St John's and Canterbury in the end that made it through to grand final day. And Canterbury stormed home in the last quarter. They kicked 11-22 against St John's 9-5-59. And from memory, Canterbury kicked 6 behinds without a goal to start the final term. And it just had this real vibe about it that they were going to blow their chance and St John's were going to come back the other way and score and win the game. So as it turned out, Canterbury did go on to win it by 29 points, 11-22-88 to St John's 9-5-59.
It's one of the great score bugs this final term because they're down by a point at the 18-minute mark of this game, and they peel off 6 goals in about 14 minutes to win it by 5 goals.
After they'd kicked 6 behind. So you can imagine how tense it was. It was a 1-point game, and everyone who was on the Canterbury side of things is going, oh no, this is going horribly wrong. We're going to lose this game. And St John's, every time Canterbury kick a point, are thinking, no, this is our day today. And then suddenly Canterbury found the middle and they couldn't be stopped.
And it wasn't even their worst behind streak of the game. They kicked 7 straight behinds in the second quarter.
It was a fantastic grand final in the end. But Canterbury won that flag for Division 3 men's.
Let's go to the top 5 vote getters for this section, Jace.
We will start in 5th position on 18 votes from St John's, Daniel Abu Karoom. In 4th position on 19 votes from St John's, Timothy Werner. In 3rd position on 20 votes from Powerhouse, Luke Stubbs.
Stubbsy.
So it's 18, 19, 20.
20.
In second position on 21 votes, Powerhouse, Ben Kirkoster. So
I think I
second
can
to
pick
fifth.
a pattern here. I think the
Second
middle
to
might have
fifth,
22.
just 3 votes between them, which brings us to our winner.
Are you going for 22 votes, are you?
I'm going for 22. Lock it in.
29 votes. Fletcher Banfield wins it by 8 from North Brunswick.
Comprehensive from Fletch.
They had a stellar season, the Bulls. Unfortunately, fell short of reaching the grand final, but their home and away form was simply outstanding from North Brunswick and from Fletcher Banfield. So congratulations to him. I got on all good authority, Jace. He is travelling at the moment.
He is. He's over in Berlin at the moment. Fletcher, 27-year-old from Wanganui in the Shepparton Swans, played at Thompson in the Geelong Footy League, a little bit at Redcliffe up in Queensland, joined North Brunswick this year. Best players, 14 of 17 times. As a coach's votes, including the first 8 straight of the season and the last 3 of the season. So Fletcher Banfield, our best and fairest for Division 3 men's in season 2024. And as you mentioned, he's over in Berlin at the moment. So upon his return, we will present him with his medal.
He's probably in Berghain, so more power to him.
G'day, Fletch here from the North Brunswick Bulls. I'm currently in Berlin at the moment, so the sense of achievement is perhaps a little anticlimactic. But I feel very chuffed and honoured nonetheless to be recognised by the league for this award. Firstly, I'd just like to thank Sipper and the coaching staff for a great season. I thoroughly enjoyed playing under your guidance and leadership, and unfortunately things didn't go quite to plan for our September finals campaign, but I have no doubt that the club is in good hands for the next year. I'd also like to thank the Bulls Club, all players, supporters and contributors for making the season so enjoyable. The mateship and camaraderie I've felt at this club is like no other, which makes it such a special place to me. Thanks again, and go Bulls.
Time to head over to Division 2 now, lads. And I've covered Division 2 over a couple of years previous to 2024, so I do enjoy what happens down in this particular section. Now, what can you tell me about Division 2 this year, lads?
Well, this was a division, Paddy, that we spent a lot of time talking about, wasn't it? You know, there was Elstonwick and there was Brunswick, and there was it ebbed and flowed throughout the season as to who was going to sort of end up being the best team in the competition. And as it turned out, Elstonwick peaked at the right time, and they won that grand final by 13 points on a day when they kicked 417, 41, but fortunately for them, Brunswick kicked 310. So Elstonwick ended up winning that grand final by 13 points. But yeah, it was a really interesting, fun division in 2024.
Yeah, the Elstonwick story has taught us so much. It's been that rise through the divisions. It was that wonderful article from Paul Amy that came out, I think, in about August or so, which sort of tracked how the Wickers have grown. And I'm really looking forward to that club in particular, seeing how they adjust through the next few seasons, Joey.
I think we might have put the moz on Tom Hunter. He came on the podcast when they were flying, and we put a little warning label next to Brunswick, and they fell off the perch.
Well, they still finished 2.5 games clear on top of the ladder at the end of the home and away season. But, they peaked early, and Elstonwick just timed their run beautifully.
Which is just terrific. As you did say, Paddy, a credit to Elstonwick and what they put together. At the bottom of the end of the table, we had Wattle Park and Bulleen Templestowe, which looks like they'll be playing 2025 in Division 3. But we're not here to analyse the whole section. We are here now, Jace, to award our best and fairest player for Division 2 men. So from 5th down to 1st, where are we going?
We have a tie for 4th place on 13 votes, both from Whitefriars, Sam Kiesecker and Marlon Cimbalon. In 3rd position, from Hawthorn, on 16 votes, Charlie Boots. In 2nd position, 17 votes, from Whitefriars, Max Warwick, and the winner of our best and fairest for Division 2 men's for 2024, from the Hawthorn AFC, on 20 votes, Justin Ratey.
Now, lads, I've done this show now for 3 or 4 years consecutively, and I reckon I pencil in Justin's name before we start hitting record on this every year. So we're going to have a chat to Justin Ratey again, aren't we? Given he's won.
Let's do it. Justin, congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, quite a shock, to be honest.
Do you want to just roll out the same speech you've given the last few years? We're going to put your name on this award shortly.
No. I genuinely... especially how the season started personally wasn't, you don't think about these things, but we didn't even think there was a chance. So it took me a while to get into the season. I changed back to the ruck halfway through the season, and ended up having a good second half. But definitely didn't think I'd get anywhere near enough votes to win. So very proud, but unexpected.
Yeah, you certainly came thundering home. I noticed in the coaches' best player votes, you polled in 13 of your 17 games, but 10 of your last 11 games. So obviously some great form. You booted 29 goals, including 4 goals on 3 occasions. 131 games for Hawthorn since 2016. So you've been around there for a while. That obviously means a bit to you, does the club?
Yeah. It's the home club now. I wouldn't dream about going anywhere if I'm playing or not playing anywhere else. When I first came to Melbourne, played a year out in the Northern League and then came to play there with my brother. Haven't left and won't look wouldn't even dream about anywhere else, like I said. But love the place. It's a great club. It's grown both on and off the field, and just a great place to be around. Why would you want to go anywhere else?
Justin started his career out at South Mildura, 89 games up there, and then, as he mentioned, 1 year at Lower Plenty and then down to Hawthorn. He's been there ever since.
3 Peter Hutchison medals next to the name of Justin Rady. That's the Division 3 men's best and fairest. Justin, now a Division 2 winner. How does that sit with you? 4 times you've been the best player in the competition in the Amos.
Yeah, it's sort of kind of a weird feel. It doesn't. I don't know how it sits really, because I don't think that I'm that good. I just love to contribute. I love playing. I turned 37 during the year, so it's just love playing and contributing. And I think my best position is the ruck, even though I was trying over the last few years to play, the bit of a full forward type of role, not get smashed into as much. But I'm definitely proud. Obviously, we've had a few disappointments over the last my time in 3 losing grand finals. So you'd take one of them over these, but it's still I'm pretty proud. I'm gonna stop playing and we'll see how that all looks in the future, because it'll be something I'll definitely look back and be proud of.
The 2024 season for Hawthorn finished just outside the top 4, climbing up a section into Division 2. How did you find the jump up from Division 3 last year?
Yeah, it was a bit of we started really well. We thought, the last couple of times we've been up in Division 2, we've won a total of 1 game. So to get off, I think it was a 3-1 start, was great. And we thought we definitely had the right people. And then we went through a bit of a tough patch, which ultimately got us undone and finished winning 8 of the last 9 games and missing out by half a game, I think. But yeah, it was a good standard of footy. I think the top 2 or 3 in Division 3 last year were quite a step above the rest, and that's no disregard to the other teams. But then to come up and still be competitive was a great achievement for the club. To miss out in finals, coming home so strong, was really disappointing. But I think the club, the senior men's team, to win how many games we won was a huge achievement, considering we have done very poorly in Division 2 in the past.
Justin, we know that younger players at AFL level, that the year 1 to 4 players, they'll come back nice and early for the pre-season. Going into your 37th year, when do we expect to see you on the training track coming 2025?
About halfway through March.
I don't even know if I'm going to play, to be honest. It's getting a little bit harder. Mainly more mentally, just the training and all that. But I'm not sure. I haven't really properly decided yet. So it might be a bit of a see when January, February rolls around. Yep. But it's definitely, I'll be around the club. Like there's, like I said earlier, it's somewhere you want to be. Full season with the commitment is probably not what I'm looking at the moment. But I don't know. I haven't thought about it too much, to be honest.
You know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing 3 medals in the Division 3, 2 and 1 in the Division 2, and then a Mequicare Masters best and fairest next year. Heading for the Mequicare Masters, Justin. It's still in the blood. I can hear it.
Into that. Well and truly. Well, we have the club legend down at Hawthorn, Phil Avery, playing in the seconds and thirds at, I think he's in his early 50s now. So, never know.
Oh, you've still got 15 good years left in you. You just won the league best and fairest. You can't pull the pin now.
You might have to get on to our man Steve Crapper from earlier. He was doing wonderful stuff for Marcelin and the Mequicare Masters.
Now, Phil Avery, of course, was the first ever player at Hawthorn to win a competition best and fairest back in 1998 when it was F section. Does he talk about that regularly with you, Justin?
Oh, he brings it up all the time. No. He's very modest man, but no, great achievement. 98 is well, I can remember it because I'm old enough. But yeah. I think that we won our only other men's senior flag that year as well. So hopefully we can rectify that sometime soon.
Well, we're looking forward to hopefully seeing Hawthorn on top of the dais in the not-too-distant future. Before we let you go, as you've done many times on this night, you've got the floor now to give a few people some thanks for helping you along the way. I don't know, do you want us to rerun what you said last year and just do it again? No, genuinely, thank you to the VAFA and putting on a great season and obviously the everyone at Hawthorn and Mark Murray as our coach really allowed me to pull back on training a little bit and has brought the best out of me the last few years. So I'm really appreciative of that, and everyone on the committee and in particular Sam, our president. I honestly, as most presidents do, put so much time in, and I hope it gets well, seen by everyone. It definitely does by me. But my partner and wife, Jill, she supports me, even though we had a rough couple of years with how last year ended. But just to support me playing footy still is fantastic by her. And all my teammates, we're such a close group. Looking forward to seeing how everyone goes next year. But yeah, thanks to everyone who was involved, and hopefully we can have some more team success going forward. Well, congratulations, Justin. You are the Division 2 men's best and fairest player in 2024, and we look forward to seeing you next Wednesday at the William Buck Premier Awards night to collect your medal. Well played.
No worries. I'll unfortunately miss that. I'll be off overseas, but no, thank you very much for everything, and good luck to everyone else.
What about Justin Rady, lads? 37 years old, fourth best in comp. I'm telling you, I'm speaking to him. We'll probably book it in again next year, Jace. Might as well do it now.
Yeah, just pop it in the calendar. Yearly appointment with Justin. Look, people like Justin have them going around and sticking around in the Ammos for so long. As you said, he's 37 years of age, just playing excellent football. It's a wonderful thing to happen, and it is one of the things that we love about the Ammos. A lot of the local clubs where, blokes getting paid and they're sort of bouncing around and whatever. By the time they're 37 years of age, they're done. They've moved on. They've moved on to the next stage of their lives. But so many guys are playing great footy all the way into their, their mid to late 30s, still loving being involved at their footy club, still playing a great brand of football and contributing to their team. And for Justin, well, league best and fairest doesn't get better than that.
Well, I know he did say he wasn't quite sure about what next year looks like, but
there was a bit of a spark there still, wasn't there?
You get to February, you'd maybe see your teammates running around doing the 5K and you think, I might give it a run. When it's warm, it's easy to say that, less so in the dark cold days in June and July.
I'll tell you who's going to enjoy 2025. The boys of Paran. Now, of course, Jace, you, Paddy, and myself, we were at the William Buck Grand Final launch early September. And, of course, Matt Cosgrave, who is the president of the Old Zavarians, was standing up the back of the room and kindly allowed that Paran are going to be on Toorak Park next year. So great to have them use the facilities. Mind you, they had a terrific 2024 season, the boys of Paran. When we look at Division 1, which is where we're heading now, Jace.
Yeah, they were my one absolute certainties, weren't they, at the start of the final series?
This is the frustrating element. We try so hard to get him off the fence all year, Joey. And when you do make the prediction...
Absolute certainties at Paran to win the flag. And
16
sure enough,
and 2 they were.
Sure enough, Paran 5-6-36 win the grand final over Parkside.
Stranger things have happened.
2-10-22 by 14 points. Congratulations to the boys from Paran.
Also, congratulations, I think, should go to Ormond. They've had a couple of lean years, the boys out at the gun reserve, but they finished inside the top 4. I think Brandon Jackson might have led the way when it comes to goal kicking from UHS, kicked 50 for the season. And I also noticed, just before we do go into the votes, Bailey Pays, who is the son of Sean Pays, who was the game's record holder until earlier this year from Old Peninsula, he kicked 47 goals and last year was the rising star of the competition. All sections. So to kick 47 goals in your second season of senior footy is a nice little feather in the cap. But like we were going to speak about shortly when we get to Premier C, because I've got some theories on whether Mitch Brown's going to poll. I don't know if Bailey Pays is going to poll as many votes as I think, given I'm not sure the umpires look at the goal kicking. But I'll talk about that a bit later on, Jace.
Let's start with Division 1 men's. And here's an opportunity for our top 6 as I have a look at the envelope. Because we have a tie for 4th spot. A 3-way tie for 4th on 15 votes. From Old Peninsula, Kurt Thiel. from USHVU, Harrison Kennedy.
Bernard's boy.
And from Ormond, Jackson Hill. All on 15 votes in fourth position. We have a two-way tie for second. On 16 votes from Parkside, Benedict Douglas. From Paran, Rory Brody. And the winner of our Division 1 Men's Best and Fairest for 2024 on 20 votes, 4 votes clear from Paran, Sean Chapman.
Handy crowd in for the Paran boys. Mate, they're
The
hanging out.
Chapman crowd.
Big crowd for Shawnee, who's been good enough to join us on the line. Congratulations, Sean.
Thanks so much, guys. You've had me on the edge of the seat for the last 14 hours.
What does it mean to you, Sean?
A lot, mate. Footy is a lot to me. I heard you talk about Division 2, and he's 37. I'm 34.
35 next Wednesday. Happy birthday.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, on the all days. It's my birthday. So to get this award last year was a bit of a surprise. This year's a huge surprise. Obviously, we knew the team was going to go well, but to get the honours of the entire league shows a bit of hard work pays off. I ended up joined a run club, run about 350. Almost did a half marathon every weekend to get my body right. Because at 34, you don't just bounce back. So
That's
I think
correct.
the recovery lab should probably sponsor me by now. I reckon I've come through the whole repayments. So mate, I couldn't be more proud. And I just want to shout out to my family, but most of all my granddad, my biggest supporter. 90 years old, every game he can get to, finds a seat. Still thinks I should be in the AFL.
Good man.
Because he know I struggle to get in the field every week. So thanks so much, guys. This is an absolute honour. I can't wait to walk on that BAFA Awards and claim this one as my own.
Well, it's been a great career you've had so far. 100 games for Parkdale Vultures for between 2009 and 19. You played a bit of senior Prem B and C, and then 60 games at Paran since 2021. This season, kicked 21 goals, including 3 in the second semi and then 2 or 5 in the grand final. I think, were you named best on ground in that granny, Sean?
I feel like you asked me a question you already know. Yes, I was.
Just wanted to give you the chance to just very modestly say, well, now that you mention it.
Yes, you mentioned yes. I did get that. Also a surprise, but a very tight game, and the weather gods were against all sort of footy there because I was up and down with hail and rain. So a great way to cap off a season, and I'm really excited to obviously pull on the boots again next year. It's another old dog.
Yeah, that was a crazy day out at Hadfield, wasn't it? What does winning the flag to Paran mean, and such a fantastic year that you guys managed to finish it off? Because as we said, you went 16-2 in the home and away season, and then got the job done in the finals.
Well, pretty huge. I've won a few flags through Parkdale, but in a different part of the team. I was obviously more of a role player and quite a young guy. So coming as a vice captain, a lot of weight in your shoulders, and we missed out last year. We went out straight sets. I did my hammy, my first ever soft tissue last final. So I called a vendetta against football, really, to come back. And then we knew we had the calibre of the team and the coach to come in early on the season. The confidence is always there. So one of the greatest achievements of footy is coming at this age, kind of taking over with a club into the new part of their lifespan, and being a pivotal part is even better. So very proud of the team, proud of myself, and proud to be a VAFA football player.
Sean, have you got a nickname at the club?
I have a couple. Chapo is my nickname, but I also nicknamed myself The Future 4 years ago because I'm the future of the club.
Well, you weren't wrong.
Good man. I was thinking...
As a 30-year-old, I nicknamed myself that, and they all thought I was an absolute cockhead, which I thought I was as well. Come to this phone call, I can clearly say I'm still some sort of that future. So as funny as it was at the time, I did dress up as the future as a superhero to our end-of-year celebrations. It's all fallen in line for me. Otherwise, it could have been a bit of a joke in the opposite direction.
I was going to give you a new one because you've done the Dustin Martin with the league MVP, the best on ground in the grand final, and the premiership medallion. But I think the future works really nicely, Sean, so we might be keeping that one.
No, I'm sure Sean's going to be really flat to call himself Dustin Martin for the next 6 months.
No, exactly. I'll take it all.
I'm sure.
Now, Sean, if I got this right, you've actually been up on the awards stage before to collect a medal, but it wasn't your medal. It was Rory Brody's, who you've knocked off. And was that a couple of years ago? And now you've switched places?
That was last that was last year, and he was going to get engaged overseas, so I went up for him. And funny little story, when they were announcing the VAFA awards, I imagine a lot of the people don't know what the winners look like. Right. I claimed to be Rory Brody, and got the photo with Luke Ashton as the best and fairest.
I do.
And Rory knew that I was always going to do it as a joke. And I just spoke to Rory before, and he's asked if they've called yet. So you imagine Rory getting a call pretty shortly after this interview, and I'll let him know I have beaten him again.
Are you going to let him get up and accept your award this year as Sean Chapman?
Well, I might have to.
So last year...
They'll know who's coming, though, this time around.
Last year, if I've got this right, the top three was Rory was first, equal with Luke Ashton from Oakley. Second place was Sean, and third place was James Muster from Paran, who's already won a couple of best in comp medals previously, hasn't he, Sean?
He has, yes. A jet, little Muster.
Geez, handy team at Paran.
So the problem you're going to have this year is getting past security, Sean, because you're going to get up on the stage and they go, no, Rory, you didn't win it, mate.
Yeah, I might have shot myself in the foot there. We'll take it as it comes.
Now, I've got two quick ones before we let you go, Sean. Starting off with, I mentioned it off the top of our discussion of this section, you get to play at Toorak Park again next year after the redevelopments. Must be nice to be going home in 2025.
Yeah, we did one training session there and got it's a nice pitch. It's good to. That's definitely a pitch well above what a D grade side should be playing on. So I'm glad we're in a Prem C and representing VAFA on that ground, because when I started at Paran at that ground, and to see it redeveloped and what it's going to look like is pretty phenomenal for an amateur football team.
No, awesome. That's going to be fantastic for your football club. And the last thing. As Sean Chapman, not as Rory Brody, you get to offer some thanks to people who have you supported along the way in 2024, mate. The floor's yours. Yeah, so, well, obviously my parents, but the bigger thanks is the football club to have faith in me and put me I've always put myself in a pretty big role in front of everyone at the club and ensure that I can try and carry them over the line if I have to. But the biggest one for me, and I hope I'll have to make sure he listens to this, is my granddad. In 92, he can't quite walk anymore. He gets to the ground, he sits there, he still thinks I can play AFL, and it's pretty special to have that bond with your grandfather and through football. So the club, the parents, but definitely granddad, and all the guys I play with. That football clubs are forever. Really, when you find the right one, you'll never lose those friendships and those bonds. So super proud to be part of a Paran, and I don't think I'll ever leave. Absolutely well spoken, Sean. Congratulations on winning the Division 1 medal, which is the LS Pepper medal in the competition. You're the best player in 2024. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week to collect your medal in person. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks, mate. Bye-bye. Awesome to hear from Sean Chapman, who was the winner of the Division 1 men's medal from Paran. Let's head over to Premier C. We start to work our way towards the pinnacle of the evening, lads. And interesting competition, Premier C, because Old Carey had a standout year. The Hampton Rovers fell short on grand final day, but also had a standout year. And let's not forget Ajax. Incredible. Those three teams were all fantastic. Old Carey finished at 16-2 alongside Hampton at 16-2. Ajax were 15-3, and they didn't even get the double chance. That's how competitive the top end of the competition was. And then, as you mentioned, Old Carey on grand final day were just absolutely outstanding. They won that game by 89 points, 2017-137, defeated Hampton 7-6-48, which was a belting for the Peacock. Most certainly was, and he's been sending fruity messages ever since, but they're coming up to Premier B, so he's quite content with that. Now, Paddy, just before Jace goes through the top five, both of you, since the opening for the Love of the Game podcast this year, were adamant we're going to have 100 goal kicker this year, and Mitch Brown was that man. He got close, there's no question about that. So I'll be interested to see how Mitch Brown polls, given how many goals he kicked this year, and whether the umpires were focused on the midfielders getting the ball down to Mitch, or whether they were more interested in how many goals he kicked throughout the year. Well, they do say it's a midfielders award, so I don't think it would be fair to put that expectation necessarily on Mitch. Oh, now you're going to take the pressure off Mitch after all year asking him for 100. It is the midfielders award. The 100 is for the forwards. The medal is for the mids. Okay, right. What do you think, Jace, before you read out the votes? Where do you think the umpire's attention goes? To the midfielders? Or if you kick a bag at local footy level, I reckon it's a lot more noticeable than... Definitely. I agree. I would agree. You would think that especially when you're kicking as many goals as Mitch has kicked, the trick with this, though, is how many absolute standout games. Because if you're only kicking 2 or 3 or 3 or 4 goals, which is still a decent afternoon, you're not polling votes for that. Like you're setting yourself a benchmark. So you're going to have
sort of bags of 6+ to be polling votes. So then the question becomes, how many of those games can you get? Can you get enough votes to get yourself up around the high teens to 20 mark by having 5 or 6 or 7 standout games? That's what we're about to find out.
Just before you do, I'm going to throw another name up for you because he was part of the Big V squad. He played in last year's game. He's from Hampton. He was part of the squad this year. Christian Carnival, superstar player, great midfielder, can poll, regardless of what the Peacock tells me. I've seen this bloke over a number of years, Chase, go really well in these kind of awards. But let's go from 5 up to 1.
I've got the envelope here. Let's start with 5th position on 15 votes from Glen Ira, Old McKinnon, Will Green. 4th position, 17 votes from Parkdale Vultures, Mitch Brown.
Oh, there he is. Just got only 4th. Well done, Mitch.
3rd position, Hampton Rovers.
Oh.
Max Coughlin.
Ooh.
2nd position, big gap here, 26 votes to finish 2nd, which is enormous. Hampton Rovers, Christian Carnival.
Oh, boy.
The winner of our Premier C Men's Best and Fairest for 2024 on 28 votes from Mazenod, Matthew Fewings.
That's a terrific achievement.
Thrilling count.
Particularly the top 2.
28 votes for Matt Fewings. And Matt joins us on the line. Matt, congratulations.
Thanks, guys. It's a great honour to win that award. Really happy. Cheers.
23-year-old started his footy career out at Waverley Park Hawks and the mighty Rowville Knights, where he kicked 25 goals for them back in the under-17s, a little bit of time at Oakley Chargers, and then 91 games at Mazenod since 2018. A big V rep this year. Great season. Polled coaches' votes in 13 of the 17 games. Kicked 15 goals as well. Matty, what did you make of your season?
I was really happy with my season. I think I was coming back from injury last year. I missed most of it through hamstring injuries, but I was really determined in the off-season to put in the work, and I think I had a really consistent year throughout the year. I was really happy with it.
What's Premier C been like? We've seen the story all year has been old Carey, Hampton, Ajax have been up the top of the ladder, but then you've got this sort of mesh of teams in that 12 wins to 8 wins area. How have you found it this year?
Yeah, so with Mazenod, we're probably that in between. We struggled to beat those top 4 teams. We came close to Hampton and Parkdale, but we took care of the teams under us, but we probably just didn't have enough to beat that really strong top 4. So I think the competition as a whole at the top end is really improving in Prem C, which I've found throughout the years. That top end was really strong this year, and it was probably a bit of a drop-off, I thought. So, hopefully we can get up to that top end going into next year.
And Matty, it's a feather in the cap not only to win the competition Best and Fairest, but you're also one of the co-captains at the Nodders. Sits all right with your leadership, the position of the captain?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an absolute honour to lead the boys out every week. I have high aspirations to join that top 4 with those strong teams that were this year. So we have work to do in the off-season, and I'm really excited to lead the boys out, hopefully for another year if they choose me. But I want to perform and get into that top bunch.
What does lifting into that top bunch look like? Is it a younger group down at Mazenod? Like, how are you going to make that jump?
Yeah, it is a very young group at Mazenod. I think over the off-season we lost a lot of depth of players going to other clubs. So I think a lot of young guys got opportunity this year, and I think going into next year, they're going to take that big improvement. So getting those guys to really get the best out of themselves, I think we're naturally going to progress, but I think we all got to be accountable to push each other even harder because everyone's got the same mindset of trying to get into that final bunch.
How's Mazenod's school footy program been going, Matty? Is there a chance to get some depth from kids that are just finishing Year 12 this year and maybe stepping up to join Mazenod OC?
Yes, the Mazenod school program, they made the grand final for their division, which was positive, and I know they have a few good players coming out of there, TAC Cup. So, we've done some work sponsoring some awards, and we have some presence in the school as well. So hopefully they filter through and we get to see those boys develop over a few years' time into the team.
Matty, you're the third player from Mazenod to win the Ales Zachariah medal, which is the medal for Premier C. 2010, Michael Chamberlain did it in C grade for Mazenod. 2013, Tim Bourbon, and now yourself. Handy little few names there from the Nodders. What does this whole situation mean to you, the fact that you're the best player in the competition in 2024?
Yeah, well, it's a massive honour to those guys always get spoken about, especially with the old blokes, about how good they were. So to be put with those names is a massive honour. To be named best player in the competition for the year. I'm really proud of myself. I think I put in a lot of hard work, and I want to keep this standard up as I keep going through the years, but I want this to be followed by a team success, not just by my own success.
And I'm sure you've got a few people you want to thank, Matthew.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously got to thank Mum, Dad, always supporting me, being brutally honest with me when they think I could have played better. They make sure they hold me accountable. I guess my teammates, love leading them out each week. We have a really connected group, and they really make me just love footy. The whole committee and the coaches, they work really hard to make eight teams throughout the whole club run week to week, and they put in so much effort that people don't see. And then the coaches always driving us to be better. And I think we're all on the same page that we want to keep improving and get better. So, yeah, I'm really excited and bring on 2025.
Congratulations, Matthew. 28 votes. That's the second most votes anyone's going to poll tonight out of the men's senior competition right across the VAFA in 2024. So you should be rightly so. Very proud of yourself. Well done. Congratulations. Best of luck for the road ahead.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, lads, we get to the most important medal of our night. Of course, next week, William Buck Premier Men's, the Woodrow Medal, and the Shona McGuinness Medal for William Buck Premier Women's will be announced at the San Remo Ballroom. Tickets sold out, as Sue's told us, off the top, so you can watch through the glass if you do come out. Otherwise, just wait for vafa.com.au. The next day will be rewarded. But let's head over to the Premier B Men's Best and Fairest player. Now, Paddy, this is the section you covered with distinction right throughout the year. You spent every Monday on the phone with all the coaches, and they were gracious in talking to you. Even our man from D. Larsell, Nicky Highland, you and Conte Zoglu are now striked up a membership base at Richmond together. So two of you are going to watch the Tigers in 2025 every single weekend. But tell us a bit more about Premier B, please.
It's the division like no other this year. Old Haileybury finishing first, D-Lar in second, Old Trinity and Old Geelong rounding out the top four. It was Old Haileybury who coronated really with a fantastic grand final performance against D-Lar, 94-point winners. But the game, perhaps the game of the season that I've seen at any level, especially that last quarter between D-Lar and Old Trinity playing out in that preliminary final. The hand of God from Luke Healy, Jacob Williams' 2 final quarter goals to get D-Lar back up to top flight. The other narrative I think that's really interesting, Joey, and you mentioned this on For the Love of the Game during the season, was the ability for both elevated teams to compete at a really high level. Old Ivanhoe and Old Camberwell were superb. They were in the finals race into the last fortnight of the home and away season. We had a ding-dong battle pretty much from day dot, and I'm really looking forward to what will happen in 2025 now that we see Old Haileybury, a side that was unlucky to not be playing top-flight football in 2025, no longer there. It's a bit of a question about who's going to mix it now with Old Trinity. They're sort of the number one seed. Old Melburnians coming down along with Fitzroy. This is going to be a cracking division and hopefully just as close next year as it was this year, perhaps with the exclusion of grand final day, Jace.
Some fantastic players in this competition that you've been following all year. We always knew this was going to be a really competitive league best and fairest count because there's just some jets running around.
Yeah, there are. There's a couple, you've got the all-important envelope. The few names that I think that would pop up, I think Christian Algieri had a magnificent year for De La Salle. He got the game at Collingwood VFL at the back end as a bit of a reward for his season. The likes of Alex Emery and Christos Manasakis at Old Trinity, they were both superb, and Jordan Buzzertle at Williamstown CYMS. My relationship with the great man Con, you mentioned a few moments ago, Joey. He loves the buzz. He is a super player. So I'm expecting this to be a really close count.
So this is for the GT Moore Medal, a prestigious award in the competition. Last year, dual winners, Ben Huggard from St Bernard, Jack Sheridan from Old Geelong. We've had Tom Downey win this award in 2019. Chad Jones, the year he kicked 100 for St Bernard's back in 2018. So,
did you say 100?
Yeah. He kicked 100.
Kicked 100 in the Amos.
And that's the last 100. It was a shocking goal to bring up the 100.
Did it count, that goal?
Oh, well, it did, but it was a shocker against Ajax. So now it is time, Jace, to go through the top 5 for the GT Moore medal.
Should I crack the envelope?
Let's crack it.
Let's do it.
In 5th position, on 15 votes from Old Geelong, Jack Sheridan. In 4th position, on 20 votes from Willie CYMS, Jordan Busuttil. Which brings us to our top 3. On 22 votes from Old Camberwell, James Allen. On 23 votes in 2nd position from De La Salle, Christian Algieri, which means our winner on 26 votes from Old Ivanhoe, our Premier B Men's Best and Fairest winner for 2024, Billy Murphy.
He's brought the crowd along with him, Billy.
He brought Jared Geishan in with him, of course, his coach.
Unleash the Geish.
And Old Ivanhoe. Billy Murphy. We spoke to Billy 12 months ago, Jace. He was the Premier C Best and Fairest player, the LS Zachariah medalist, and now he's the Premier B Best and Fairest, and we welcome him in, I'm told, from Bali. Hello, Billy.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Hey, we're going great, but how are you going up there in Bali, if you don't mind?
No, it's the morning's off to a great start, so that's fantastic news.
Billy, take us through your team's elevation this year. You guys were superb. It didn't quite get to the end of the season with your race for finals, but you were right in the mix of it throughout the season.
Yeah, it was good. I think as a list, we probably have pretty high expectation of ourselves. I think on paper, I think the talent and the quality is there, and the quality of people around the club we knew was good enough to sort of, not only consolidate but play finals and be competitive. So, all in all, I think it was, probably most people look at that as a very successful year. But we were, a little bit disappointed towards the end of the year with sort of some of the performances that we were putting up. They were well below sort of our expectations and what we knew we could bring with our best footy. So we're sort of we're very hungry and excited as to what, 2025 looks like. And, we're not happy to sort of miss out on finals, that's for sure. But, we know I think the potential for us to bring Old Ivanhoe back to its heyday. And, I don't want to do, but I originally signed at the club. It was, add value to this group and bring this club, all the old fellas down to the club. They just want to see this club back in A grade. So ultimately that's the goal. But, we just need to take, there's steps in place and take small steps to sort of achieve that. But playing finals next year is certainly on the radar for us.
Billy, I've had the pleasure of calling you at VFL level over the years. Obviously spent a bit of time at Box Hill and the Bull Ants and Aspley. You've played 40 games at Old Ivanhoe since 2015. This year, just such a consistent year. Poll coaches votes in 16 of the 18 games. You kicked 30 goals, including 5 against Caulfield. What did you make of your season 24? Where does it stack up against your other years?
I've loved the transition back into local footy, to be honest, Jace. It's sort of enabled me to, play more midfield. And, when I was playing VFL footy for those 8 years, I was sort of pigeonholed as a small forward, which was fine. And I really enjoyed that and got to work on my craft. But coming back to local footy, I've sort of been able to release the shackles a little bit, play a little bit more midfield. And I've really enjoyed that transition. I've found that love of the game and reignited that spark that I probably lost in those last couple of years of VFL. And I've just, thoroughly enjoyed the environment that Old Ivanhoe has to offer. And it's been great on a personal level. Take my footy aside, I just think being able to work on, other aspects of my game, be it leadership and more off-field stuff has been super beneficial for me and hopefully the group.
Billy, I mentioned a couple of minutes ago that we had the pleasure of speaking to you 12 months ago when you were the LS Zachariah medal for Premier C, and 2023 you took it all before. You won the premiership, you were the best player on the ground on grand final day, and obviously up to Premier B this year and announced as the GT Moore medalist. If you compare the years, which one do you think you had more stability on, 2023 or was 2024 a more of a breakout year for yourself?
Oh, God, that's a question. I probably would like to think that the higher level of football that I play, the more that I sort of enjoy adapting to that high level. I'm used to that more fast-paced footy. So I think The better the level of footy, the more I sort of fit in, I guess. But I really enjoyed Premier C. I think Premier C is a great competition, and as you'll see, there's actually not that much of a difference between Premier C and Premier B, and I've experienced that firsthand. You look at Carey that have come up, and some of the results in Premier C, there's not a massive difference, to be completely honest. But just from a personal perspective, I'm just glad that I found some level of consistency across both years coming back into local footy, because there's a lot of players that come from VFL and go back into local footy, and they probably don't play as good as they would like to. So I'm just more so relieved and glad that I can add value at local.
What's next for your group, Bill? You've got a few younger guys coming through. You've got a few experienced guys who've been there for a little while. What do you need to add for 2025?
I think what we need to add from a list perspective, it'd be absolutely amazing to just get a big bustling full forward and then a big bustling ruck. We just need a couple big boys to sort of complement that young sort of vibrant energy that we have in our team. And I think around that, I think we're very well rounded. We have some good running players, and we're, I would say almost the complete list away from, one or two big boys. So probably the mission this year would just be, in this off season, we try and get a couple of big fellas to complement the group that we have already, because we know that what we have is certainly good enough. But yeah, just a couple of big boys would be nice.
And before we say farewell to you, I'm sure there's a few people you'd like to thank.
Just more so the club, and I'll give a big shout out to Jared and his lawyer Jeff, who in my time in footy I've never seen passion like that. And to come down to local footy and just see the ultimate professionalism that they have, and the level of care that they show to the group of boys, it's no wonder that why the club has sort of got to where it's got over the last 24 months. They're sensational people, and they deserve all the credit they get coming their way. I haven't seen that passion and care from coaches in my time in footy. So a big thank you to them, and then just obviously all the great people that are down at Old Ivanhoe. It's a great club, and we're on the up, and I look forward to the years to come.
Billy, congratulations. It's an awesome effort on the back of what you put together last year. To do it again, a division higher up in 2024 is no mean feat. Enjoy your time in Bali. I'm not sure if you're going to be back by next Wednesday to collect the GT Moore medal. If you are, we look forward to seeing you. If not, enjoy the pre-season, and we'll see you again in 2025.
Thanks, boys. I'll be there. I'll see you then. Take care.
The great man, Billy Murphy from Old Ivanhoe. Paddy, just before we do wrap up the evening, how many times do you write Billy's name down throughout the year as the Premier B scribe?
I would say double digits at least. I think for Billy Murphy, he was outstanding throughout the year. They've got a really nice young group coming through Old Ivanhoe. I'm pretty bullish on where they'll be next year. He's got that nice little relationship with Toby McLean. They had Ollie Hayes-Brown in the ruck for a little while, who
you're not going to see him
actually
again.
Outperformed what they were expecting, so we will not be seeing Ollie Hayes-Brown at VAFA level. I quite like what they've got going on. Archie Franklin, the Anytime Rising Star nominee off half-back, collecting posies like nobody's business. And I kind of am with Billy there. I think they need some bigger bodies up front to kick the goals, and I wouldn't mind seeing them add a bit of teeth, I suppose, into that midfield group, and there might be a few things in the works for Jared Geeshan's mob.
Great opportunity if you're playing local footy or you're looking for a club and you're a big man and you're looking for a club that's on the way up, and you can step straight into Premier B level with a chance of potentially playing finals and maybe Premier Men's footy in their future in the next few years. It's a great opportunity.
It has happened this year. Matt Wallace came down. He joined Old Geelong during the season, went to full forward and just dominated in the 94, if you don't mind.
94. Now, of course, we covered the William Buck Premier Men's Grand Final on Grand Final Friday. Having Paul Satterley alongside us, who's at Caulfield next year, did that sway you at all with your selections on next year? Because I've said the Sats effect will mean Caulfield will bolt up the table in 2025.
I like the Sats effect. I think he could inspire a group. I am keeping my powder dry on both Caulfield and the Old Melburnians.
Nathan Brown,
until I see what's coming through the gate, whether Sats picks up the phone and starts trying to get a few red legs over to his new club.
That won't be happening.
No, I think he said pretty definitively he will not do that.
It will not be happening.
I know it won't. But I'm just interested to see.
He could jump the fence, though, at Caulfield Racecourse, get a couple of jockeys over.
We'll see.
Potentially.
I'm just interested to see how both those lists shape up, because I wasn't red hot on Caulfield throughout the year. They started so well. They fell away drastically during that middle part of the season. My gut feel tells me that that's not a one-year fix.
Okay.
And it's the same with the old Melburnians.
Are you all in on Fitzroy for Premier B next year?
I think I am. I reckon they'll be finishing in the top 4 at least. I've got them fairly comfortably locked in there with, I think, not quite as clear as Old Trinity is. I have Old Trinity first in, I have Fitzroy second in, and then I think Old Ivanhoe are my third most likely team at this stage to finish in the top 4.
It's going to be a great Premier B next year.
It's going to be a super year.
It's going to be fascinating. And then you've got Old Carey coming up and Hampton Rovers as well, so it's going to be a stacked division.
Tell you what, I was so interesting, sorry Joey, to what Billy said about the difference between Premier C and Premier B football, having experienced it firsthand recently, that he doesn't reckon there's that much of a jump. So I wonder if there's a few listeners out at Hampton, maybe the Peacock, tuning in that are thinking, there might be an opportunity for the double jump maybe for Old Carey or Hampton if they get their lists right.
Hampton, turn it up, double jump, going early.
There's your runway, Joey.
Going early for the Rovers. Just before we wrap up, because I've got a question for you, Jace, before we finish up. Are the top 5, as you mentioned, Jace read them out before, Jack Sheridan, Jordan Bustatel, James Allen, Christian Alguiri, and Billy Murphy, who we just spoke to. Any surprises in there, that names that you thought, maybe they've had better years than I expected, or even some that you thought might have been higher up?
That's a good question,
Not to discount the 5 that have been there, by the way, but there's always standout players across the board.
I think that's a pretty worthy 5. As I mentioned before we got into the votes, I thought Alex Emery had a really super year. I was surprised to not see his name.
He took out Trinity's best and fairest over the weekend.
So I was surprised to probably not see his name around the place. Tim Allen's
Is that because they're quite even across the board at Trinity and maybe others would have taken votes away from him?
Might have been the Bontempelli-Treloar effect, just nicking votes off each other left, right and centre.
He doubled his vote count on Brownlow night. Now, Jace, next week, Woodrow Medal night, Shona McGuinness Medal night. You've been the Premier Scribe throughout the year. I'm not asking you to pick the winner of the Woodrow Medal, but are there a couple of names that you've written about a few times throughout the year that you think, gee whiz, they might feature prominently on Wednesday night?
Well, again, it comes back to this interesting discussion we were having a bit earlier about midfielders versus the big forwards. Now, we didn't see a lot of big bags from big forwards in Premier Men's this year, but we did see a handful of them. The Sam Grimley, James Stewart type that did bob up. And, so I'm going to be fascinated to see if those sort of games poll votes, or is it just the in and under blokes who are just continually racking them up, the accumulators? Is it the flashy halfback interceptors, of which we've got a bunch of them, and have polled well, the likes of Marty Gleeson across the years,
last
right?
year's winner.
Correct. So we know those guys poll as well, and we know we've got some really good ones in the competition, and we saw Charlie Cormack have a huge influence early in the grand final, playing that exact game. So that is a game style that stands out as well. Someone who's consistently taking marks across half-back and then being the distributor that launches attacks. So it's going to be a very interesting count to see which way the umpires go. Is it the accumulator? Is it the intercept defender? Do the big forwards get votes when they kick goals, or do you have to kick an absolute ton in a game to be able to poll votes? We'll find out next Wednesday.
I think it's going to be a very even count because I think there's a lot of midfielders who'll go up against each other. Like Harry Hill and Nick Pavlou is a great example because I think...
Don't discount Tom Fisher.
Yes,
He's a poll getter, a vote poll getter.
Yeah, even Hamish Dicker runs through there. I think there'll be a lot of ones, twos in the eventual winners or eventual top 5, I think, just because
so lots of guys in the teens. We've seen some high 20s votes and things in some of these other categories. Billy Murphy with his 26 and Matty Fewings had 28 and Fletcher Banfield had 29. Probably won't see that in Premier Men's, you wouldn't have thought.
We haven't seen a lot of runaway winners when it comes to William Buck, the Woodrow.
I'm thinking early 20s, I think.
Okay, early 20s. Well, I'm looking forward to being there next Wednesday to read out the votes and then interview the winner on the stage. But we are done. That is a bumper edition of our Radio Awards night for 2024. Your first one, Jace. Your first one, Paddy.
Never forget your first.
No, well, you won't now because in 12 months' time when it comes around again, you'll be better for the run, as they say in racing parlance, which we're about to head into, the racing season, which I love, the Spring Carnival. Thank you for being part of this. A big thanks to Mequicare, who have supported us right throughout 2024. We'll do it all again next Wednesday at the awards night, vafa.com.au. It's where you go to read up about all the other award winners. We'll see you again in 2025.
Congratulations.